and I feel fantastic. I'm sleeping better than I have. And the thing that's so good for me about this is the convenience. That's how I got into this shape. Fast food was always easier, and that's how I got so heavy. Now I have convenient food that's also good for me.
I've got my soup sitting here right next to me. Delicious soups. If you need to turn things around, you're type 2 diabetic, you need to reverse some of those symptoms, PhD Weight Loss can help you do that. Just go to myphdweightloss.com, myphdweightloss.com.
1 minute you might be blasting Jack White, and the next you're belting out a Lady Gaga dance track. Your music taste varies, and we got you covered with your very own station, My Favorites Radio. The more you listen and thumb up the songs you like, the more personalized your station gets. Get started now and start thumbing, and the only songs that'll play are the ones you've thumbed up. Plus, you can share your station with anyone in seconds. My Favorites Radio, only on the free iHeartRadio app. Discover music, radio, and podcasts you'll love.
iHeartRadio.
I've got a question for you. Do you have a car, truck, SUV that you want to sell? It could be an old junker. It could be a car you just bought. It could be a car somebody gave you. It doesn't matter. At Paramount Kia in Asheville, we want to buy your car. Give us a call, make an appointment, or simply stop by. It's fast, simple, and easy. And we'll make sure that you leave with the most money possible. Ash Valley Mall, ParamountKiaAsheville.com.
If you suffer from chronic joint pain, don't assume that steroid shots, pain pills, and surgery are your only options. You can now get real, lasting, life-changing relief from QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in using biologic therapies to repair damaged tissue in your aching joints. This advanced, unique treatment protocol uses natural biologic agents, mostly from your own body. These powerful, highly concentrated growth factors are put directly into your affected joint, going to work to soothe the inflammation and restore damaged tissue. A truly regenerative treatment. Finally, a new, different, highly successful approach to dealing with joint pain. Is it time you got a second opinion? Call QC Kinetics now and wake up to a life without pain. Call QC Kinetics today at 828-333-9517. That's 828-333-9517. QC Kinetics.
Asheville, Monsters of Rock and Roll Rapture. March 18th and 19th, Monster TNT explodes into the egg center. Metallic monsters and raw horsepower. Tickets now at monstertnt.com or buy at Allen's Jewelry and Pawn for free pit passes.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio stations.
Hello there. I'm Mark Robbins. Aaron Rodgers says his decision on if and maybe for whom he's going to play in the 2022 season will be made pretty soon. He's still under contract with Green Bay, and although Rodgers may want to play elsewhere, and why would that be? Well, ESPN's Diana Rossini has some intel on that matter.
I was told from someone who's having conversations with his agent, not the highest paid player by a little, by a wide margin. He doesn't want to just be at the top by a few million. It's got to be significant.
That's ESPN NFL reporter Diana Rossini on KJ and Max earlier here on ESPN Radio. The New York City Marathon canceled in 2022 due to the coronavirus. A limited field in 2021 due to the pandemic, but this November, a full field of 50,000 runners will run in New York City. And Greg Norman, in a letter to PGA Tour Commissioner Jay Monahan, says the battle to start up arrival to the PGA Tour is not over. In fact, Norman says it is only beginning.
If you need to hire, then you need Indeed. The all-in-one hiring platform helps you schedule and conduct video interviews right from your employer dashboard. Finding your next great hire has never been more streamlined. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
In the heart of Beer City, USA, two men, one journey to create a sports show unlike any other. Unfiltered, raw, and honest. One of them played a soccer goalie opposite Ben Stiller. The other once scored 6 points on Steph Curry. These guys know their shit. Let's go! Tank Spencer, Jeremy Greene, the Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingles Supermarkets. Low prices, love the savings.
And welcome into the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. The Sportsocracy heard everywhere, live or on demand on the iHeart Radio app. You miss anything from the program, don't forget you can always go back on the podcast on the iHeart Radio app. Check that out. Excuse me. Welcome into the program. Welcome into the Ingles Studio. We are always brought to you by Ingles. Low prices. Love the savings. Don't forget the Ingles 2022 SoCon Basketball Championships are coming up next week at the Harrah's Cherokee Center, Asheville. We got more opportunities for you each and every day to win a family 4-pack of tickets to the SoCon Basketball Championships. But you can get your tickets today at SoConHoops.com. Don't forget to stop on by the Ingles Fan Zone to get all of your SoCon swag and, of course, interactive games. Jeremy and I will be down there on Friday doing the show live, so we encourage you all to join us down there on Friday as well. Anyhow, that's all coming up next week, and we've got a lot to talk about today. We've got Jones Angell, voice of the North Carolina Tar Heels, coming up at 4 o'clock. He's going to talk to us about the bubble situation that the Tar Heels find themselves in right here. 20 wins on the season, though. I feel like that's at least a good benchmark for a first year of the Hubert Davis era. We'll talk to him about that. Also, some football news coming out of Chapel Hill as well this week as Mac Brown and company prepare for spring practices starting up next week. We'll talk about the Kyrie Irving situation in Brooklyn. Does the impending lift of all of the vaccination mandates, does that make the Brooklyn Nets the overall favorite to win the NBA championship this year?
Vegas believes so, and I'm not so convinced of that.
It puts them up there. It definitely puts them up there if they're going to have full force, full power with everybody playing. No more part-timers. That's what we like to see. We'll have, of course, Jeremy's picks of the night and Greene on Greene and the 5 on it coming up.
If you played with me last night, you're welcome.
Yep. Greene on Greene coming at the end of this hour. 5 on it comes up in the 4 o'clock hour. We'll talk about the Super Golf League as well in this, this quicksand that Phil Mickelson has apparently found himself in after some choice words about how the PGA is doing its business. We got random NFL news as well, all and news and rumors that we'll get into. But first, let's talk some broadcasters because Troy Aikman is getting the bag. He has secured it's not secured yet. It's still rumored. We don't have an official report on the numbers here, but it looks like he is going to be getting a contract comparable to what Tony Romo got to leave Fox and go to ESPN to be the lead analyst on Monday Night Football. It's the best get that Monday Night Football has had since John Gruden.
Oh, easily. I would say longer than that.
Longer than that?
I mean, this is one of the best commentators in the game, but that's not really why this is a story. The story is how much they're paying him. The rumor currently is that it's going to be $17.5 million a year.
Yeah.
Which puts him just south of what Tony Romo makes.
Right. Tony Romo gets 18 from CBS, and I think we can all agree that it is well-deserved.
And what that tells me is that there is another shoe to drop. It's just a question of who that shoe is.
Who is that shoe going to be? Yes, that is indeed the question. And we're also, I've asked Jeremy to formulate his ranking of NFL broadcasters, so we'll do that as well. So Troy Aikman leaving to go to Monday Night Football. I think this is a great turn for ESPN. It's obviously the biggest name, like I said, since John Gruden. Is it the biggest acquisition that they've ever made as a franchise?
I have to say yes, because there are so few really good commentators. ESPN's gone through a cycle of seemingly every year they have to tinker with something. Well, now you don't have to do that. I don't know who will be with Troy Aikman, but this tells me you're settled. But now this creates a problem that I had never thought to be a problem.
Mm-hmm.
I thought if Troy Aikman left Fox, it would be to go to Amazon. Well, apparently now ESPN has entered the fray, which means now you have 2 really high-end spots. And there's not that many people that can fill them.
I feel like this is that statement by ESPN. of we're still a leader in sports. We're still in the game. I feel like over the last few years that ESPN TV especially, we've seen them go through the bloodletting that has been talked about in broadcast circles of, cutting loose the big contracts. We've seen guys, jump from ESPN to go elsewhere and seek more pay. And now, to me, this is like ESPN just putting their foot down and going, we're still a major player. We're still the franchise that you want to work for.
See, and to me, you're looking at this from a very tiny view.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at it from a much larger view of right now, the NFL has never been more pillar to post than it is currently.
Yes.
Fact or fiction?
Fact.
They changed the schedule around. Now the combine and free agency, everything is strategically placed.
Mm-hmm.
This is a 24/7, 365 league.
Yes.
I have said this exact same thing about college football, and I think that's what's coming next, is that you're going to start seeing people that are in their prime walk away. Urban Meyer did it for years. Sean Payton is going to end up somewhere. It will not be in a booth. That is all I can tell you. That is all I know. It is not going to be in a booth.
Mm-hmm.
He will not be the one that catches this bag from Amazon. The problem with Sean Payton is that everybody fully believes that 1 year from now he'll either be the coach of the Cowboys, he'll be the Cardinals, whatever the case may be.
Right.
That's not usually how these jobs work. And what I've been told, that's not how it's going to work with Amazon either.
No.
Whoever catches it, you're here, and you're here for a while, which is why it won't be Sean McVay.
Agreed.
But I'm still not convinced that there's not somebody out there that'll go, we'll risk it.
And who would that be?
You're going to tell me I'm crazy?
Okay.
I won't be shocked if it's Fox. I won't be shocked if it's Fox.
If Fox gives away.
What are you going to do?
Right.
Now you have it. Do you realize how big a discrepancy there is in the money? That's why this is a story. This is a story because you had Joe Buck for years.
Mm-hmm.
That was the high water mark. It's him and Jim Nantz.
Yep.
How much do you think those two make? Because they're very close.
I would say total contracts with them. Is this just for football, or is this their CBS/Fox contracts?
According to this is for the NFL.
This is just
now,
for the NFL.
They may wrap everything into it. I don't know.
See, that's what I'm thinking. Like with Jim Nantz and Joe Buck, these guys do everything. Like Joe Buck does all of the baseball, and Jim Nantz does all of the golf, and he does NCAA basketball during the tournament. And
if it's not, these two guys need to be friends of mine because they're getting paid.
I would say it's $15 million.
It's 10.
10? That's shocking to me.
Tony Romo's almost double that, and Troy Aikman now will be too.
Mm-hmm.
Fox has been dropping behind CBS for years, solely because CBS did something that Fox didn't. CBS invested in their younger, the Trent Greenes, there's a slew of them. They invested in that.
Mm-hmm.
Fox didn't. Fox went, we have Troy and the revolving door that is in the booth. Well, now you have a problem. Because you don't have anybody to champion your lead coverage. ESPN just came in and stole that guy. And who are you going to replace him with?
I would say that person could already be in the building. They could already be under contract.
And who is that?
Greg Olson.
You're out of your mind.
I think Greg Olson, he is a rising star in this business.
And I don't disagree with you, but I think just based off what you just said, you obviously were drinking before the show.
Why?
He's done 12 games in his life.
Mm-hmm.
And you're telling me you're going to replace him on the flagship? This is the one that you expect to catch a number.
This is America's game of the week.
Yeah, it ain't Greg Olson. He plays here because he was a Carolina Panther.
Of course.
That's not a national get.
I mean, he's already the number 2 guy for Fox.
And that's kind of my point, is that it's not going to be somebody in the building.
All right.
Do you know how much the NFL revenue, do you know what that number is for Fox over the year?
No.
And I understand they have the World Series.
Mm-hmm.
They have 2 golf majors. It's over 80% of their budget. You're not going to take a risk here. And the reason that this is relevant to me, I won't be shocked if they go hard after Peyton Manning, or I know he's under contract with ESPN, but there is an out in that contract, just so you know. Because if he were to take an in-booth job, allegedly, he can get out of what he does with ESPN.
Okay.
I don't think he wants to, because I think he wants to be the owner of the Denver Broncos. He's currently involved with 2 ownership groups to buy the Broncos. But then you go, there's not anybody Tom Brady's not going to do this.
No.
Drew Brees is not leaving NBC because he will likely be in some way involved in the replacement of Al Michaels. They're going to have to go 3-man booth because too many people hate Chris Collinsworth.
Oh, absolutely.
You can't go Mike. I mean, look, I like Mike Tirico just fine. I think I like him better than most people do. If you're telling me now it's Mike Tirico and Chris Collinsworth, cool. I can hit mute on that and never think a second thing about it.
I'm out there. You're immediately the worst broadcast crew in football if that happens.
Oh,
again,
without a doubt.
Again, Mike Tirico is fine by himself, but you need that Al Michaels. You need that solid, long-standing voice. You need the Bob Costas type of a guy to go with Chris Collinsworth. You need that name, that ace in the hole play-by-play guy to go with a guy like Chris Collinsworth because he's so polarizing.
And there's a report out now from Mike Florio that they're going to throw a bag at Sean McVay too.
And they should. They should throw whoever.
The question is, how many times can you hear this without going, all right, I give. I got the ring. This team's going to age like a dairy product. I give.
I still maintain I feel like he's too much of a competitor. He's too young to leave the coaching profession now. When he was talking about, I'm not going to do this forever, he was talking about, I'm not going to be doing this in another 10 years. I don't feel like it was an immediate, like, oh, I know how high of a risk burnout is in this profession. I'm just going to be done at 36.
Well, here's what I know, and I've said this on the show more than once. He's getting married in June, I think. Number one goal in his life, start a family. $20 million a year with virtually no shot of being fired. You ever notice that guys that get to this level don't ever get fired?
No. I mean, you've got to say something completely.
And do you know why?
What?
So you asked me to do the list.
Yeah.
Chris Collinsworth, who I literally openly mock on this show regularly, is my 3.
He's your 3?
He's my 3.
He's the third best analyst.
He's the third best out there, behind the 2 $18 million guys.
Yikes.
Troy and Tony Romo. So you have to. That's why you're hearing John Lynch, of which John Lynch would be just fantastic.
Oh, he was great.
Yeah, well, he did it for, 2 years?
2 years.
And he was just kind of coming into his own when he got the GM job in San Francisco.
Well, I mean, he and Rondé Barber, they were both started out about the same time with Fox, just doing these regional broadcasts. And they were so good. And I still feel like Rondé is really good, but he's not he's not the guy. He's not a showstopper. He's not the guy that's going to fill in and be that number one. I think Greg Olson has it in him. Still too early.
I don't.
Ever.
10 years from now.
Right.
In terms of right now, you've got to understand the reason that we've been talking about this is exactly where we're at now. Virtually anybody that you could put in that spot is going to leave an on-field hole somewhere. GM of the 49ers, head coach of the Rams. I think there's a player out there. I just can't figure out who it is, and no one will tell me.
A player?
I can't figure out who it is.
Like a current player that they would go after?
So Andrew Marchand of the New York Post put out an article of these are the guys. It was Sean Payton, Sean McVay, Drew Brees, John Lynch. That was his 4.
Yep.
And then he kept hinting at there's somebody else, we just don't know who it is. So, of course, me, being the inquisitive like that I am, I started asking, because I can't figure out who it is. There's somebody out there. And I don't know who it is, but it won't shock me if it's a player. It won't shock me in the least if it's an active player.
Interesting. I don't know what kind of a name would it have to be a current player to make enough waves and get everybody instantly engaged in your product.
Well, obviously it's going to be somebody older.
Right.
I mean, it's not going to be, you're not going to see a player dip out like Sean McVay would. Because a player can't decide at 45, oh, well, I miss it.
Right.
I'm not shocked. I wouldn't be shocked. You're going to tell me I'm out of my mind.
Gosh,
but I have gone through the entire league going, who in the world could this be?
Here it comes.
Who do you think I'm going to say?
I just want to. Are you going to say Aaron Rodgers?
I'm going to say Russell Wilson.
Russell Wilson. I can't see.
I'm going to say Russell Wilson. And now, look, this is totally me spitballing,
okay.
But it makes a lot of things I've heard about him make sense.
Okay.
He wants to be in a big market. He's married to a celebrity.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't want to go to Chicago or New Orleans. It never made any sense to me. Why would you say that? You're not going to the Jets. The Jets have a young quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to the Giants. They're a train wreck. And then I came across it and I went, huh. He's already got a Super Bowl. Not loving where he's at right now.
Mm-hmm.
Has bigger aspirations. He's the only one I can think of. This is not one person has told me that. I've gone through every roster in the NFL trying to figure out who could this mystery human be.
Right.
That's the only one that makes sense to me. And I'll be honest with you, I think you should throw any amount of money at him he wants. He would be a rock star at this.
Russell Wilson as a broadcaster.
I think he would be a rock star at this.
He possibly could be. And he comes in and he would immediately be top 4. He'd immediately be top 4 analyst.
He'd probably be
football.
my favorite the second he stepped in the booth.
Yeah.
Him and Romo. But that's what you got to be looking at. The two best analysts in the world, they're both quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason for that.
Mm-hmm.
Charismatic, know the game. And I'm just telling you, like I said, I have no insider information on who this is going to be. But you look at all the guys that have retired. Ben Roethlisberger doesn't make any sense.
Nah.
Phillip Rivers talks like me.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason that doesn't play across 50
and he's good
states.
being a high school coach. It's fine.
Well, and because, he has a hobby that takes up a lot of his time.
He's on 19 Kids and Counting now? Is that where he's at?
906, I think.
Right. I don't know about him. I don't know about it.
Eli's bad enough with his brother. We're not doing that.
No.
You take Payton away, his partner would have to be a cricket.
Or do you go edgier? Do you bring in somebody who's going to shake things up? Somebody who's going to be unconventional?
Me and Pat McAfee.
I was going to say, like, Marshawn Lynch or Rob Gronkowski or
that's
a
another
character,
one that's made sense
like a really outgoing, just erratic kind of a personality to shake things up. Really put that Fox spin on it. You know what I'm saying?
And trust me, I looked at Gronkowski and went, that's not terrible. And then I went and pulled footage of him talking.
Yeah, I just don't think he's got the chops.
No.
He's
his standing pace sounds like he's 8 Amstel lights in.
Right.
At all times.
Right.
I just don't think that would work. But this sounds absolutely ridiculous. Mm-hmm. And we knew it would before we ever did the segment.
Of course.
I'm telling you right now, this kind of money that is locked down probably for the rest of your life, if you want it to be. It's hard to turn down.
All right, who's your favorite broadcaster? Weigh in on the chat and the YouTube stream. Just go to thesportsocracy.com, click on that live video link, hit the subscribe button on the channel, and that gets you into the chat. Who is your favorite? We will rank them coming up next. Best broadcasters in the NFL here in ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Well, after a spring-like fill for midweek, looks like a front clips Asheville and brings in some more February-like numbers to close the work week and takes on into this weekend. Some showers tonight, 55. Cooler on Friday, chance for morning showers, high 58, low 33. And then highs in the 50s this weekend with light showers, nighttime low temps down in the 30s this weekend, Saturday night, Sunday night. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This report is sponsored by NBC's Law & Order. It's back, the show that started it all. The original Law & Order. Anthony Anderson and Sam Waterston return in the can't-miss premiere America's been waiting for. Law & Order returns tonight on NBC. Justice is back in session.
Nobody protects you from mayhem like Allstate. I'm a speed bump. Did you hear what I said? I'm a speed bump. And if you have cut-rate car insurance, the cost to reattach your muffler could really be a bump in the road. So switch to Allstate, save money, and be better protected from mayhem, like me.
Based on coverage and limits selected. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. In most states, prices vary based on how you buy. Allstate Bar and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Today, my wife sent me a picture, Jeremy, of myself 6 years ago. And I was standing at a Mardi Gras parade. And I looked like I should have been afloat in the Mardi Gras parade. I was a massive human being 6 years ago. And thankfully, I can definitely tell the difference today with PhD weight loss. This program has been going phenomenally for me. And I know you've been struggling with weight gain since your fighting days. Are you noticing the difference now?
This is actually the first time I've been below 260 in well over 8 years. I'm sleeping better. I feel better. And one of the things that I can't strive enough is the convenience. That's what got me in this shape. Fast food was always easier. This is easy. It's nutritious, and it makes me feel worlds better.
Dr. Ashley Lucas worked with professional athletes to set up this program to teach everyone how to more efficiently burn the fat in your body. Go to myphdweightloss.com.
Which is as beautiful as looking your firstborn child in the eyes for the first time. Well, that's a bit much. Maybe it's more like looking your second-born child in the eyes for like the third or fourth time. Point being, the savings and round-the-clock protection are really, really magical.
Forced Metaphors, presented by Progressive. Bundle and protect today. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Discount not available in all states or situations.
Did you know select Ingles Markets now offer curbside service? Shopping has never been easier with all the quality and service you expect from Ingles. Visit ingles-markets.com to find a store near you and start shopping.
Real estate isn't about properties, it's about people. I'm Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty, your native realtor serving all of Western North Carolina. I will work hard for you, and I believe in doing the right thing every time. I market each of my listings to reach out-of-town buyers. I use a professional photographer and drone video on every single listing, as well as collaborate with agents across the country to find your buyer. Check me out online at clarissasellswnc.com or give me a call at 828-774-6343. It would be my pleasure to assist you through the real estate process.
Hey guys, I'm Ziggy, your local Philly girl, owner of Ziggy's Bakery and Deli. I've created a traditional northern deli with only the most authentic cheesesteaks outside of Philadelphia, served with provolone, white American, or Cheese Whiz. Our other classic deli sandwiches are made with the best quality meats and cheeses, available sliced by the pound. Join us for breakfast for house-made bagels with our custom cream cheeses. Or for something heartier, try a pork roll, egg and cheese, or house-cured lox. Ziggy's Bakery and Deli, in the corner of Asheville Commons, 1550 Hendersonville Road, open 8 to 3, Tuesday through Saturday.
The Sportsocracy. These guys are a f***ing disgrace.
And welcome back into the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, seen everywhere on YouTube. Just go to thesportsocracy.com, click on that live video link, hit that subscribe button. Clarence weighs in on the chat. He says, of course, the answer is Tom Brady. He's got something to prove. That's one area of football where he hasn't succeeded yet.
Yeah, I'm going to disagree with that.
Yeah, I think he's got better things on his mind.
Tom is too hyper competitive for that. Although I won't sit here and tell you that somebody won't make the call.
Oh, I
just don't think it's going to go anywhere.
Yeah, I think that call's probably already been made. Probably 2 years ago when they were like, "Hey, you ever got any interest in broadcasting?" You could do that too.
Yeah, the problem is that you get into Trent Greene like really quick.
Yeah.
There's just not that many guys that are good at this. It is hard to call games.
He didn't make my top list. Trent Greene did not make my top list.
How many did you put on this list?
10.
Yep, your list is invalid. Yep, you've already invalidated it.
You're a big Trent Greene fan?
Trent Greene was my 4.
You're 4?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Charles Davis was my 5.
All right, well, let's get into it here.
And then from there, it gets disgusting.
The ranking. Here, let's we'll do the analysts. Your top analysts in football. Number 1 is Tony Romo. I think if Tony Romo's not your number 1, you're doing it wrong. Your number 2
is Troy Aikman.
Mm-hmm. Mine's Louis Riddick. I like him better than Troy.
And he's on my list. He's very smart. He's just, I would much rather he be a GM. I think he would be a phenomenal GM. He's just, there's times he gets very meandery. And I like the guy.
Right.
He has the same problem that I would have. At times, you have to stop talking now.
I think that's why I like him so much, is because he does. I mean, he's got great knowledge of the game. He obviously has great stories, great insight into the league. He's one of my favorites. Troy Aikman's my 3, so Troy's not too far behind. I'm not a huge Troy Aikman fan. I think it's because I've just seen him so much.
Oh, it's also because you can't stand Joe Buck.
No, I like Joe Buck. It's just I'm very jealous of the job that he has because he does all of the things. Because he's so damn talented to do all of the things. And he ticked me off years ago when he was so just, Randy Moss mooning the crowd. Like, that was the moment where I started to hate Joe Buck. Like, shut up and just let them have fun, please. All right, your 4 was who?
Trent Greene.
Trent Greene. Mine's Mark Schlereth. I love Mark Schlereth so much.
I like
he just can't get over that regional hump.
No, he's got that same problem that I'm going to lump myself into this. We're too opinionated.
Yeah,
Mark Schlereth
maybe
cannot stay out of Twitter arguments, which is what I like about him.
Right.
There's a lot of people that rubs the wrong way.
Yes, it does. Mark Schlereth is my number 4. Who's your 5? And among analysts in the NFL?
Charles Davis.
Charles Davis. My 5 was Aqib Talib.
Yeah, I got to 5 and stopped because it's disgusting from there.
I have been the most surprised about somebody jumping from being a player to being an analyst. More surprised by Aqib Talib than anybody. Love the guy to death.
Well, he also gets Gus Johnson. I'm pretty sure the fan in our studio could, if Gus Johnson was calling games with the fan would be tremendous.
The fan would be tremendous at it.
Gus Johnson in the other list, he's one with a bullet.
Right.
He's better than Joe Buck.
I did a top 10, and my last 5 are Greg Olson, Rondé Barber, Chris Collinsworth, Daryl Johnson, and Jonathan Vilma.
Yeah, Chris. I thought I had Collinsworth higher, and I did. He was my 6.
Yeah, Collinsworth comes in toward the bottom of the top 10, but I mean, you just have to give the guy. You got to give the guy props, whether or not you get tired of here's a guy or not. Play-by-play guys, that's a different story for me.
Oh, it's there's 3, and they could be 1 A, B, and C. It's Jim Nantz, Joe Buck, and Gus Johnson. Now, if we're talking about college football,
I have 2 of those
Gus
in my top 3.
Johnson is 1 through 9, and nobody else even need to be discussed.
I have 2 of those 3 in my top 3. My number 1, and I'm not tied to Jim Nantz at all. I've never been a golf fan, never understood the hello friends thing. Love him when he's doing college basketball.
Oh, and I forgot one, Al Michaels.
He's great at the NFL. He's my 2, though. My number 1, and I'm going to continue to stand on this, Kevin Harlan is the guy. He is the voice of the NFL, and I wish he was the voice of the NFL on television because he is so good on the nationwide broadcasts, the radio broadcasts. He should be more used on television, in my opinion, than he is. I think he's the number 1. I got Jim Nantz at 2, Gus Johnson's 3. And then I go Ian Eagle, Al Michaels. That's my top 5. Al Michaels is just getting too old. Years ago,
Al Michaels looks and sounds exactly the same way he did 30 years ago.
No.
Al Michaels is still, he's in that tied for 1. And then everybody else is just meh.
And then it's Joe Buck. Joe Buck, Chris Myers, Kenny Albert, my guy Joe Tessitore. Can't say no to the voice. And then Steve Levy. That's my top 10 play-by-play guys in the NFL. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Hit me up on Twitter.
Al Michaels and your hatred for Joe Buck is showing. Ian Eagle did Jet games for too long. I've heard
did he?
Him.
He ruined it for you?
Well, it's not even that. It's just I've heard that voice so many times that I like him. He's fine.
Yeah.
Plus, he does basketball. He does all kinds of stuff, too.
Yeah,
That's the guy that doesn't get the rep for being like Jim Nantz, but he does everything. I wouldn't be shocked if he called cornhole tournaments.
Right. Troy Aikman, Going to get a 5-year deal, reportedly for $17.5 million a year to go from Fox to Monday Night Football. The Monday Night Football crew, they're back in the discussion. Just immediately with the addition of Troy Aikman, they are back in the discussion for top booths in NFL broadcasting. Let's get just a bit outside.
Boy, you must be outside your mind. The Sportsocracy.
Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
Tom Brady's not going to go do broadcasting. He's got bigger fish to fry. He's got movies to make. Have you seen this? Tom Brady is going to be acting in and producing a movie with his 199 Productions crew. It's going to start production this spring, and the movie is going to stick in the craw of every Atlanta Falcons fan from now until the end of time. I can already see it happening. The story of the movie is apparently, it's called 80 for Brady. And there are...
Oh, I hate titles that rhyme. Oh, it's so bad.
80 for Brady, and it's about 4 women who go on a road trip to see Tom Brady play in Super Bowl 51, which was the one with the miracle comeback, the 28-3, all of that with the Atlanta Falcons.
That's a weird way to say Kyle Shanahan piddling in his pants on national television, but okay.
Aw. And yet, in the first of the Super Bowls that he would do that in.
I wonder who plays Kyle Shanahan in this movie. Seth Green.
Seth Green?
Tom Green.
Tom Green would be better.
Jeremy Green.
It definitely wouldn't be Jeremy Green.
It definitely wouldn't be me.
Jeremy Green playing playing Kyle Shanahan in a movie would be like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, but look,
Kevin James playing Sean McVay or
only
Sean
if
Payton
you show
in a
me
movie.
from the shoulders up, because I do have the great kazoo head like he does.
Which, by the way, Home Team, that was a good movie. Y'all should see that on Netflix if you haven't yet.
Didn't make it through the trailer.
It's a
and
feel good.
I love Kevin James.
It's a feel good family movie about Sean Payton helping out the kids' high school team.
Oh, so it's all those things I hate.
Yeah, during the Bounty Gate scandal. But it's going to star legendary actresses Jane Fonda, one of Jeremy's favorites, Rita Moreno, Sally Field, and Lily Tomlin, starring in 80 for Brady, going under production this spring.
I don't know who 2 of those people are. I knew Jane Fonda and Forrest Gump's mother.
And Forrest Gump's mother.
Who was 4 years older than him during the production of that, or is 4 years older than
Lily.
him.
You don't know Lily Tomlin? She was a great comedic actress way back in the day. I mean, she still does stuff every now and then.
No clue who that is.
No clue who that is.
As somebody I do know who they are. Art Briles. He's back.
Yeah, he's back.
Art Briles is back. He has been named the new offensive coordinator at Grambling State under Hugh Jackson. So there was a story that I wanted to tell anyway, and this tied into it. The amount of play that you're going to see among these FCS and lower tier schools, it's getting much closer than people ever thought. And there's an article on ESPN, yes, I'm being a company man, about Mike Minter at Campbell. Do you know where his recruiting class finished nationally this year?
It's pretty high.
Campbell.
Pretty high.
It was 88.
That's
that
good.
Doesn't sound that good until you realize that he beat Charlotte, Liberty, and Vanderbilt at Campbell.
That's impressive.
I think more people went to my high school than go to Campbell. That's incredibly impressive.
He's kicking tail down there in Bowie's Creek.
Well, here's the thing. This is one of the beauties of college football now is that you're getting guys like Hugh Jackson that go to the HBCUs, FCS schools. It's not just HBCUs.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great part of this to me. But the fact that you're getting these smaller schools that get really good instruction. I know a lot of people didn't like Hugh Jackson. It didn't go well in Cleveland. I get it. The other day, he's still a smart guy.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that he's going to be coaching college kids is fantastic to me. There's always been a thought in my head that if you look at the coaches in college football, 1 to 20, fantastic. 21 to 60, good, very good. and then there's a drop off a cliff. And seeing these guys like Deion Sanders, Mike Minter, Hugh Jackson, and seeing Hugh Jackson bring in Art Briles. I know
Eddie George.
Yeah. Jeff Fisher.
In the USFL?
No, he's at like Idaho State or something.
No, he coaches the Michigan Panthers.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
He interviewed for one of those smaller jobs.
I'm sure he did.
Oh, it was at Tennessee. They hired, it'll come to me in a minute. But I love seeing these guys go to these smaller schools, knowing that the smaller school guy is going to get this high-level instruction. And maybe it's me being selfish as a draft guy, but I'll tell you right now, you're seeing the effect of this in prospects that come into the draft. Something that has been a little scuttlebutt is, the COVID year is changing everything. I'm not so sure that's what it is. I think you're seeing much higher level instruction at FCS levels, lower end FBS levels, and guys are just coming into the league more prepared.
Well, I think it's also part of the thing that they can kind of compete now. In this new world where social media, you can do your own branding through social media. I just saw a quote from Deion yesterday that said, we do social media at our school like kindergartens do the ABCs. Like, you have to be able to build your own brand, and they're getting that kind of instruction. There's also the NIL that comes into effect. These guys might, you get a little extra on the side as being, the top dog at an HBCU. It's one of the things that I said when this came up. I think this is going to raise raise the tides basically for some of these smaller programs, especially when you get into the HBCU level. So yeah, Mike Minter though pulling off one hell of a recruiting class at the FCS level for.
The story
Campbell.
on ESPN is a great read. I found it last night, and I literally couldn't put it down.
Yep.
His thought was that there are so many the emphasis on recruiting is so high now that you get a lot of 3, 4, and 5-star guys that don't get the offers they're expecting. And so they could trot in and go to Alabama and be the 5th corner on the depth chart, or you can come to Campbell, knowing full well that if they're really good, they're probably going to transfer away from me. It doesn't matter. This increases my notoriety. It increases the brand, increases the program. And then we can go into recruiting and say, hey, we brought this guy in and he wound up at Georgia or LSU. It was a great read.
Right.
I would love to have Mike Minter on this show. If for nothing else, just to go, hey, everything you said in that article, you get 20 minutes. You can say whatever you want to. Just go, because it was enthralling to me.
Absolutely. Mike Minter, former Carolina Panther, getting the job done for Campbell on the recruiting trail. That's a great story. Phil Mickelson has found himself in a heck of a jam with the PGA. Some call it a failed coup attempt when Phil Mickelson released this big 520-word statement or whatever it was. What was this, a week and a half ago? 2 weeks ago, something like that?
No, the statement came from, he said something off the record. Well, the reporter didn't take it as off the record and leaked it.
Right.
And it was not good. It was bad. Bad.
Right, but what he was doing, he was raking the PGA over the coals about them taking advantage of the players on the tour. I think it's his biggest gripe is all about the social media.
Well, what Phil thinks is that the PGA Tour of America is sitting on these great big coffers and the players aren't being paid fairly. That might be the dumbest thing I've ever heard somebody say out loud.
Well, that, and you don't own your media rights when you're playing on one of these tours, so you can't do things with it on your own.
Hey, just a secret time. Name me the any sport that you're an individual and you compete in that sport where you do. UFC, not so much.
Right.
NASCAR, not so much. It's one of those things that is so dumbfounding to me. Look, where the money's coming from with the Saudis and all of those things, I don't know. I don't know who these people are. I have heard some very nefarious things about them. I don't know who they are. The only person that's involved with the Super League that I know is Greg Norman.
Right.
I have immense respect for Greg Norman. I have never had a problem with there being another league. I don't have a problem with the Super League. again, I have to repeat this. I don't know the people that where the money is coming from, so I don't know any of those things.
Mm-hmm.
Where I have the problem is this thought that these PGA guys are being taken advantage of. I really gristle at that. Do you realize how much these guys on the PGA Tour make?
How much?
Number one on the money list last year. One victory, John Rahm, made almost $8 million.
Okay.
That's just in tournament winnings. Has nothing to do with endorsements, has nothing to do with anything else.
Right.
Probably made $15 to $20 million last year. It is kind of hard for me to believe that that's, I'm being taken advantage of. I don't buy it. And it would be one thing if it was just the high-end guys. But it's not. Over 100 guys made over $1 million on the PGA Tour last year.
That's nice.
That's a ton.
Yeah, it is.
And this whole thing has just gone sideways. But it went sideways because of what was leaked.
Well,
everything I have been told, read, I love golf. So I am a huge golf nerd. This was like we're going to start announcing guys that are on this tour point.
Yeah.
And then the Phil thing came out, and now it is radioactive.
Well, everything that we had heard leading up to all of this scuttlebutt with Phil Mickelson is that everybody who had been approached had already turned them down. And Phil Mickelson gets with this reporter, and he starts talking about how the league's taking advantage of guys and not giving their proper media rights and things like that. And I understand where Phil's coming from when he says things like, well, the PGA is going to regret this because this other league is willing to give us this and the PGA needs to change. And I think there was some good intentions with some of the things that he said. It was the way he went about saying it, of basically calling the PGA cowards and basically trying to get everybody on PGA Tour to follow Phil and go, yeah, screw you, we're out.
Yeah, there were a lot of things wrong with what Phil said. We don't talk about politics on this show, so I'm not going to dive into it.
Yeah.
Just know there were a lot of things wrong with what Phil said.
Yeah. But the PGA having this reaction to the Super League of if you have anything to do with this, you're going to be banned for life from doing anything with the PGA.
Of course you are. Of course you are. The PGA is one of the smartest entities of all major sports. I would honestly say they're second to probably the NFL.
Okay.
I think very highly of Adam Silver, so it's kind of hard for me to put them in front of him. You got to realize where this started and where it has gotten to. When I first started watching golf as a child, there were 8 golfers on the tour that you cared about. There's 90 for the lay fan now. That's the thing about this that never made any sense to me. All right, so you're going to chase the Bryson DeChambeaus, the Dustin Johnsons. Why? Why would you give these guys that much money? It doesn't make any sense because nobody cares. All right, so other than Tiger Woods and Phil, nobody's ever really drawn a number like that. The golf fan watches it so long as somebody they know is involved.
Yeah.
You could have pilfered from 70 to 150 off the money list for tremendously less money and probably been just fine, especially if you had Phil, because it sounds like Phil was actually negotiating the bylaws of this thing. Phil was way further involved than he ever wanted to let on.
Oh, I'm sure he was, because he was the guy that was talking about actually considering doing this jump of, because he competed last week or 2 weeks ago in the Saudi.
He hasn't competed on the PGA Tour in the last 4 events.
Right, but he was at he finished like 16th in the Saudi Invitational or something recently. I don't know when it was, but he competed in that, and I think that's where a lot of this stemmed from. Was I'm competing in this Saudi event, and I can work my way in over here, start building the blocks.
Oh no! This was Phil has been rumored to be tied into this for 6 months.
I know it's been rumored, but what I'm saying is it all started to come to a head when he gave those comments to the reporter that were supposed to be off the record, taken out of context.
They weren't supposed to come out.
Right.
This was said off the record for a book.
Right.
This is one of those times that a journalist didn't necessarily have integrity. This was not a plan by Phil. If anything, this is one of the most absolutely terribly handled media circus events I've ever seen. To the point of, you have taken this Super League now from probably starting in June to it may never start ever. They have $300 million tied up in this. And it may never have the first event because of this.
I mean, they will probably, because they put so much money into it, they will probably still push forward. They will try.
I don't know who will touch you.
I don't either. I don't know who's going to do it because now everybody after this Phil thing, and Phil has now lost a couple of sponsors because of this. Amstel Light was one of the ones that dropped him.
I won't be shocked if you don't see Phil for an extended period of time.
Right. He says
a year or two.
Yeah, he says he's taking time off just to spend time with his family and those closest to him and reassess and all of that. But this is he's wound up making himself a pariah now in the PGA golf world. You've got guys like Rory McIlroy and
Rory
Xander.
Raked him over hot coals.
Yeah, he did. Xander Schauffele is the latest to come out and say he's not going to have anything to do with the Super Golf League.
That's not his name.
Oh, excuse me. You do it. You do it better than I do.
Xander Schauffele.
Yes. That guy has now said it. I mean, when you got Greg Norman writing letters to Jay Moynihan saying, like, did you see his statement? Mm-hmm. It started out with, "Surely you jest." That was the first line.
Yeah, I read the whole thing and went, I heard that in Greg Norman's voice.
Oh, yeah. He was like, "Surely you have to be kidding me. With, setting up these walls around this other league, why you're so powerful, why would you not be open to sharing and letting guys come and go as they please and all of that?"
Of course they are. How many fighters you see leave USC and do a one-off with Bellator?
Right.
No. We develop your brand, and then you go capitalize on it from somebody that makes us exactly $0. What sense does that make? There are times that people say things out loud, and I just want to ask, how stupid are you? Like, are you trying to convince me or yourself? Because that makes no sense whatsoever.
Right.
And, but the European Tour. What's the full name of the European Tour? The PGA European Tour.
Oh, okay.
They're affiliated with each other.
Mm-hmm.
You ever notice that the European Tour is shown on the Golf Channel? There's a reason for that, which is spearheaded by the PGA.
Mm-hmm.
This could have worked. Now you're to a point where I don't know that it can be salvaged.
Yeah, I don't know that it was ever going to work. The money was great, but as we're finding out, it's not all about the money for these guys. History and legacy means a lot to these to these guys on the PGA Tour.
Our first
I'm your huckleberry
of the day from our buddy, our Canadan friend, Armchair Commentary.
Yep.
He said, "I'll play in the Super League for $100,000. No problem. Call me." Winky
Indeed.
face.
I'm in as well.
If you'll pay me any amount of money to play golf, I'm in. Yep, I'll do it.
Yep.
I will play on the Corn Ferry Tour?
Mm-hmm.
I will play on the Corn Cob Tour. I don't care. If you will pay me $8 and pick up my bar tab, I'm in.
I think you'd do much better on the Corn Cob Tour.
100% I was.
Yeah.
And I'm not a great golfer by any stretch, but I would be markedly more entertaining than a lot of guys.
You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. Jeremy's Picks of the Night. The first one coming up next. We got Greene on Greene on the way.
The underdog. The long shot. The nobody from nowhere, never gonna happen, 100 to 1 shot. We know something about that. We're with you every step of the way.
This week at Ingles, select 12-ounce Frank's hot sauce, 2 for $5. Select sizes and varieties Keebler cookies, also 2 for $5. And select sizes and varieties Maxwell House, large can or pod coffee, $5.98 each. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at roguecombatclub.com.
What if one day you went to your secret hiding place and instead of what you came for, you found a phone number? 1-800-662-HELP. What would you do? Would you stop and give it some thought? Before drugs take their toll on you and your family, know that there is help. You can quit. For help with drug use, call 1-800-662-HELP for free and confidential information and treatment referral, or go to samhsa.gov/knowtherisks.
Hey folks, DG here asking you to give yourself the gift of Asheville smiles here in 2022. Studies have linked untreated gum disease to heart disease, erectile dysfunction, systemic diseases, premature birth, joint issues, and much more. Everything is connected, and seeing a dentist every 6 months is important for your overall health. For top-notch dental care from Dr. Rebecca Merrill here in Asheville, call 828-251-2426 or AshevilleSmiles.com.
What's done more to improve overall health and wellness, modern medicine or personal hygiene? Actually, it's both. But considering that bathing went mainstream in the 1800s and brushing your teeth in the 1900s, isn't it time for something new, like cleaning your nose? After all, your nose is the body's air filter for trapping dirt and germs, the first line of defense against allergens, bacteria, and viruses from getting into your lungs. But how do you clean your nose? With Navage. Navage isn't medicine, it's more like plumbing. Navage uses powered suction to pull saline in one nostril to the very back of the nose where germs can get trapped and multiply, and then out the other nostril, flushing out mucus and microbes so you can breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier. Join over 2 million others and find out for yourself how refreshing and easy to use Navage is. At Navage.com, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Bed Bath, and Target. Navage. Clean nose, healthy life.
This is a metaphor for your business's journey. Sometimes it feels like you're going 100 miles an hour, barely keeping up. But to cruise through challenges, you need someone who's right there with you. That's what Dell Technologies advisors do. They have the Windows PCs and tech advice you need to get past whatever's in front of you and get where you want to go. Call an advisor today at 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL. A start to a simpler experience with Windows 11 Pro.
Nobody protects you from mayhem like Allstate. I'm a speed bump. Did you hear what I said? I'm a speed bump. And if you have cut-rate car insurance, the cost to reattach your muffler could really be a bump in the road. So switch to Allstate, save money, and be better protected from mayhem, like me.
Based on coverage and limits selected, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. In most states, prices vary based on how you buy. Allstate Bar and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Coffee's for closers only. Get them the money. Then when you get the money, you get the power. That watch costs more than your car. Then when you get the power, then you get the woman.
3-1 last night. Only lost the Fighting Steve Forbes. Wake Forest going down to Clemson. But the NBA's back tonight. I got 4 picks for you. First one, the Chicago Bulls are a 3.5-point favorite tonight at home against the Atlanta Hawks. With no John Collins, I absolutely do not see how there is any shot Atlanta can contend with them. You'd have to see a huge night from Trae Young, and I think even that could happen, and they still don't cover this. Give me the Bulls, minus 3.5. Next, the Golden State Warriors travel to Portland to take on the Portland Trailblazers. The over-under in this game is 226. These are 2 of the better shooting teams in the league, and Portland, since the trade deadline, is scoring at a ridiculous clip, especially on the fast break. I don't want to touch this number at Golden State minus 9.5, but I'm all over the over. Give me over 226. Finally, the Memphis Grizzlies are a 2-point favorite tonight at the Minnesota Timberwolves. Over-under is 240. This is going to be a track meet, but not this much one. I like Steven Adams on Karl Anthony Towns. I like Patrick Beverly on John Morant. Give me the Grizzlies minus the 2, but I am aggressively under the 240.
Go and do likewise, gents. The money's out there. You pick it up, it's yours. You don't, I got no sympathy for you.
And, of course, you can take your wagers to betus.com. Go to betus.com, use the promo code Sportsocracy, get a 125% deposit bonus when you use our promo code Sportsocracy. And they will give you that bonus up to $2,500.
Under the 240 in Memphis, Minnesota is one that you should take your free play doll hairs to and aggressively get after, because that number is way too high.
Jeremy and I are changing our bodies with the PhD weight loss system. And you know what? We encourage you to do the same. I'm going through this transformation right now where I feel more alive, and I know that sounds like a cliche, but I really do feel more alive now than I ever have in my entire life. I have lost more than 40 pounds on this program in the last 3 months, and it's changing the way that I walk around. It's changing my want to be active. It's changing the way that I eat, which is fantastic for me. I'm coming into my own, man.
With us being out in public over the weekend, I couldn't count how many people looked at me and went, "You look different. You've lost weight," and that's a great feeling. What got me into this situation was fast food was always more convenient. Well, PhD takes that out because their food's not only healthy, but it's convenient as well. I'm sleeping better, I feel better, and it's all because of PhD.
Go to myphdweightloss.com. That's myphdweightloss.com. Dr. Ashley Lucas and the gang are there to help you change your life. myphdweightloss.com. Top of the hour is coming up. We got Sports Center update, and then we will have the voice of the North Carolina Tar Heels, Jones Angell, join us. We'll talk about the Tar Heels being on the bubble. Just 3 games left in the regular season. Oh, it's getting that time, Jeremy. It's bubble watch time. And Jones will talk us through that, as well as some changes that are coming for the football program as spring practices get ready to start next week. Sports Center's coming up next here on ESPN Asheville.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Well, after a spring-like fill for midweek, looks like a front clips Asheville and brings in some more February-like numbers to close the work week and takes on into this weekend. Some showers tonight, 55. Cooler on Friday, chance for morning showers, high 58, low 33. And then highs in the 50s this weekend with light showers. Nighttime low temps down in the 30s this weekend, Saturday night, Sunday night. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This report is sponsored by Mattress Warehouse's Clean Shop Promise. It's the President's Day sale at Mattress Warehouse. Save up to $800 on major national brands. Buy one, get one 50% off select pillows. Get free next-day delivery and 0% interest financing on qualifying purchases. Visit sleephappens.com.
The madness begins here. Make sure you're at the Harris Cherokee Center in Asheville, North Carolina, March 3rd through 7th for the Ingles 2022 SoCon Basketball Championships. You don't want to miss the action as your favorite SoCon teams compete for a championship and a berth in the NCAA tournament. Book your travel and tickets by logging on to SoConHoops.com or by contacting the Harris Cherokee Center Asheville box office. The madness begins in Asheville. Get your tickets today.
It's back. The show that started it all. The original Law & Order. Anthony Anderson and Sam Waterston return in the can't-miss premiere America's been waiting for. Law & Order returns tonight on NBC. Justice is back in session.
I think it's just vapor. Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
One vape pod has as much nicotine as 1 pack of cigarettes. Get your head out of the cloud. Talk to your kid about vaping. Visit talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.
This is Sports Center.
Hello there. I'm Mark Robbins. The NBA regular season resumes tonight after the All-Star break, and among the games on the schedule, it'll be Boston at Brooklyn. The Nets, of course, making that big trade at the deadline with the Sixers, bringing in Ben Simmons and others to Brooklyn for James Harden. Simmons not yet ready to take the court. However, ESPN NBA insider Brian Windhorst believes the Nets made out better in the deal and will have more flexibility in the future than the Sixers will.
I'm not sure how many years you're going to have Harden still near the top of his game and Embiid healthy. That's sort of a bit of a race against the odds. So I think Philly is under more pressure. The Nets have a lot of upward mobility after this trade that I don't think the Sixers do. If Simmons doesn't work out during this year, they could look to remove him and change things up.
That's Brian Windhorst on Barton Hahn earlier here on ESPN Radio. UEFA will meet on Friday to discuss relocating the 2022 Champions League final out of St. Petersburg, Russia, in light of Russia's invasion of Ukraine.
If you need to hire, then you need Indeed. The all-in-one hiring platform helps you schedule and conduct video interviews right from your employer dashboard. Finding your next great hire has never been more streamlined. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
He's a degenerate gambler.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
And he's cheaper than oxygen.
He's useless.
But somehow, they make it work. Jeremy Greene, Tank Spencer. There's no holding back in the Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingles Supermarkets.
And welcome into the Sportsocracy. If you are just joining us here in the Ingles Studio on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. The Sportsocracy heard everywhere on the iHeartRadio app and, of course, seen everywhere on YouTube. All you got to do is just go to thesportsocracy.com, click on the live video link, hit that subscribe button as well so you can get in on the chat at 4 o'clock on a Thursday, and that means it is Tar Heel time. We bring in the voice of the North Carolina Tar Heels, Jones Angell. Jones, man, it's a big week here. We got bracket watch in full effect in college basketball. How you been?
Doing well, Tank. Tar Heels got a couple of wins that they badly needed in that Monday turnaround this past weekend, and so that was good, and give them a chance to regroup a little bit this week and have another tough Monday turnaround coming up this upcoming weekend, and then, of course, finish the regular season. Excuse me, had a sneeze bubbling up and then went away. Then finish up that regular season at Duke, of course, next Saturday. So busy stretch here coming up. Tar Heels need to keep accruing some wins, and they'll try to do that starting on Saturday.
Yeah, you talk about accruing the wins, a 20-win season now. We've hit that mark, and that's a place that Tar Heel basketball hasn't been in a couple of years. All the shade that has been thrown about the Hubert Davis era and whether or not it's going to work or whether or not he can, make this a powerhouse or continue to make it to keep it a powerhouse. I think all of those kind of go out the window when first year you got a 20-win season, you're going to be back in the tournament.
Well, 20 wins is fine, but it's also not the standard at Carolina. It's not like you go, 20 wins, all right, we've done enough. I do think it's a nice mark, and that's good. And yes, it's solid to this point of the season for Carolina to be at that point record-wise. But I think if you're realistically looking at the situation, there's also some extenuating circumstances and some things about the year to this point that gives you pause. And that has nothing to do with Hubert Davis. It just has to do with the season in total. And that's the ugly losses that Carolina has as far as the margin of how they've lost a couple of times. Mm-hmm. The real head-scratcher against a not very good Pittsburgh team a couple weeks ago. Those are still there. And if you're the Tar Heels, you've got to be able to do something to assuage those concerns. And I think some of the problem, Tank, is, as we've talked about, is that the ACC in total just isn't as strong as it has been. And just the way Carolina's schedule turned out, they're only playing the teams that are right there at the top of the league. Outside of Duke, they're only playing all these other teams once. Mm-hmm. And so, that's Virginia and Miami and Wake Forest and Notre Dame. And, the Tar Heels just don't have an opportunity to play these teams again. And so that Duke game coming up next weekend, I think is going to be really important, not just in the outcome of the game, but how Carolina looks in the game. Because I do think that's been some of the concerning part about this team is that not only has it lost to the better teams that it's played, but it's really gotten its doors blown off a couple of times. And so to be able to have another opportunity like that will be good. And that's all on the negative side. I do think, this team has proven, Tank, that it's bounced back several times from some tough outings. I thought that win on Saturday at Virginia Tech was a really high-quality win against a team that's playing very well. And Carolina needed that game and went into a hostile environment and was able to get it and then turned right back around. Those Saturday Mondays, man, they're hard. And to be able to bounce right back against a Louisville team that's record isn't very good, but I think the talent level on that team is better than the record might suggest. I thought that was really impressive a couple of days for the Heels, and they'll try to do something similar here coming up soon.
Yeah, Louisville's definitely had their struggles this year in that program. But, yeah, as you said, I would agree. I would agree with that. This is a very talented club, and being able to sustain and come away with the win shows a little level of toughness for this team. And I know that was a big commentary that Coach Davis had after that game of, we got to find a way to be tougher to be able to make any kind of a run, not only in the ACC tournament, but also in the big dance.
Yeah, and I think that's still something that he's adamant about, and wants his team to continue to show things like that. And not just, I think Carolina will get an opportunity. Again, I hate to keep bringing it back to that Duke game, but, I think that Duke game will be an important one, in that the teams that have given the Tar Heels the most trouble this year have been the teams that have been the most aggressive with them defensively. And that's forced Carolina, or that has then forced the Tar Heels into some turnovers. And as the turnovers have built up, that turns into easy baskets. Things start to snowball, and the Tar Heels have been on the wrong side of that. And Duke is a very aggressive defensive team. The first time that Carolina played NC State, Tank, I said this too, and I believe it to be true. State has the type of athletes that they can be aggressive, and that can really challenge Carolina. Now, the Tar Heels played an incredible first half the first time these two teams played, and shot the ball really well and really got State out of the game before it was even more than about 10 or 15 minutes old. The Tar Heels had that one in control, and so that'll be a big opportunity on Saturday, because State's going to want to play better. That they don't have any chance to go to the tournament outside of winning the ACC tournament, so they'll want to build some momentum heading into that event. They'll want to see if they can spoil the Tar Heels a little bit by giving them a tough loss late in the year. And they are an athletically gifted team. And so if they defend the Tar Heels tightly with some aggression, I'll be interested to see how the Tar Heels respond, because I think not just the mental toughness and of being able to win a couple games and to fight through some difficult situations, all that's important. But I think you have to actually have the physical toughness too when teams are being physical with you, to be able, I'm not saying do anything dirty, but I'm saying handle that physical toughness and play in an equally physical way.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see this Saturday when we take on NC State if the outcome can look something similar, if you can feel like you're still dominating the game without having, like you said, that first half performance. Because what do we shoot, like 70% from the floor in the first half of that game?
It was, in total, it was 62.5 and 10 of 15 from three-point range. 10 of 15.5 from three is pretty incredible. And that's not something you can bank on, of course, to do on a repeated basis. And so, and that's something, Tank, you and I have talked about this year, is I think the Tar Heels have allowed poor shooting games to carry over to other parts of the game. Now, I thought they handled that a little bit better in the Virginia Tech and the Louisville games, because neither one of those games did the Tar Heels shoot the lights out. They had some stretches where they played well offensively, but neither one of them was what you consider, really high-level offensive performances. And so for them to grind out a couple of wins with some key defensive stops down the stretch against Louisville, some quality defense the whole game, I thought, against Virginia Tech, that was important to see. And so, can you see that again here against State, and then as you move on down the road? Because, and this isn't some negative about State, I think Carolina's better than State this year, so the Tar Heels need to go out there and prove it. But that is sometimes easier said than done.
Yeah, I think that's the understatement of the year, that we're better than State this year. State just had such a tough time. Our boss man, Brian Hall, who's the operations manager here, he we were talking today, he's an NC State guy, and he's right there with a bunch of the NC State fans that are talking about, I don't know, is it time to make a change with Kevin Keats and all of this, with the 4-win season that they've had so far in ACC play, and the fact that the ACC has been so down? They may be at a at a low point for their program, but that still gives them all the motivation to come in on Saturday and try to take advantage of a Tar Heel team that can be got, especially if Darian Sebron's on his game, because that is a kid that can hurt you.
Yeah, and State has struggled. I think that the injury to Manny Bates was huge for them because it would be something like if Armando Bacot went down for the Tar Heels. It's really just that they're one player in the post that has experience that they feel good about running out there on a consistent basis against ACC-level competition. And you've seen that even last night. The kid Quentin Post for BC, who's a solid young player, but he had a career night last night because State just struggles right now, I think, with teams that have guys who can score in the post because they are lacking size themselves, particularly with that injury to Bates. But what State does have is some really incredible individual scorers. And even in the loss in the Smith Center, you saw Traquavion Smith, put up 34 points. Jericho Helms had 25 points. They have guys who can score. And when it starts rolling downhill a little bit offensively, they can be difficult to slow down. And so they're a dangerous team, I think, in that regard, in that when it comes together for them offensively, it's impressive because they have some guys who can really do it. Now, I thought Leaky Black did a terrific job on Darian Sebron the first time that they played in the Smith Center. Leaky, I really hope gets consideration for ACC Defensive Player of the Year. I think he's been to that level of play defensively. I certainly think he should be on the all-defensive team for the conference. And he had a great outing against Sebron the first time. That doesn't mean it's going to happen again, but he did have a good outing the first time. But even if you slow him down, you still got to figure out things to do against Helms and Smith. And they're just a hard offensive team to slow down.
NC State and Syracuse, both very winnable games for the Tar Heels. Then you got Duke coming up at the, what's that, next Saturday on the 5th?
Correct.
I believe that's right. And so Tar Heels are at a point right now, though. I mean, you got to win the game. You got to win the games that you're expected to win because, latest bracketology from Joe Lunardi has us as one of the last 4 buys. So you feel like you're on the bubble, but you're at the top of the bubble conversation right now for the tournament. Obviously, you want to make some noise in the ACC tournament, an early exit in that tournament against a team like Pitt. Should hopefully that never happens again. But Pitt has been a team that we struggled with the last couple of years. So, but another loss like that in the ACC tournament, that could really make things interesting on Selection Sunday.
Yeah, I think that Pitt loss really has, as you and I talked about last week, you kind of knew it would. Mm-hmm. I think it's put the Tar Heels in a different lens because if you win that game, let's just say, then the Tar Heels all of a sudden are 13-4. They're tied for second in the conference. They're 21-7 overall in this scenario. And so I do think that makes you feel a lot better, even though it is just one game. But it was such a winnable game at home against a team that hadn't had a very good year. So that was a damaging loss, as you knew it would be once it occurred. And so now, if you're the Tar Heels, you to your point, you've got to win these games that you're going to be favored in. If you win 2 of your final 3, you're guaranteed a double bye in the ACC tournament, so you automatically move on to the quarterfinals. I do think, and I understand the Tar Heels' NCAA tournament resume is not as strong as it has been in other years, obviously. But I don't think Carolina is in quite as much trouble as it seems like they may be, unless things just fall apart. Now, if the Tar Heels don't win again, that's not a recipe for success. But if Carolina can continue to just take care of business here, I think they'll be in decent shape for where they want to go.
Real quick before we let you go, Jones, I want to talk a little bit of football because spring practices are getting ready to start. And earlier this week, Mac Brown had his media availability before spring practices. And I thought there were some interesting things that he talked about in that. One of the things was I didn't have fun last year. That was a big quote that you've seen everybody throw out there of he wasn't happy with how things went. Obviously, the team didn't live up to the expectations of the preseason rankings and all of that, and that he's going to have more of a hands-on approach to this year as far as it goes, coaching the offense and the defense.
Yeah, I mean, Mac Brown was frustrated, I think, all last year, as a lot of Tar Heels were last year, because you saw a couple things. One, I do think the Tar Heel team in total, talent-wise, was better than its final record probably showed. There were several games, most notably that Pittsburgh game and the NC State game at the end of the season, that Carolina should have won the game or had put themselves in terrific position to do so, and Carolina didn't close. And then you had some games where the Tar Heels just didn't play very well against teams that I think they were better than. Georgia Tech, Florida State, South Carolina in the bowl game. I thought the Tar Heels were better than those teams last year, even with the kind of middling record that they had. And to not show up in some of those games was disappointing. And so, if there is one thing, Mac Brown is very cordial and very pleasant and very media friendly, and he is a terrific interview. He is a terrific person. He is, I think, in general, a very kind person. But he is also an extraordinary competitor, and he's got a fire to win, and he was not pleased with that part of it last year. And so, I think you saw that in some of the changes the Tar Heels made on their staff. I know he's been very adamant about better player leadership this year, and that's something that he's trying to help foster within the team as well. And so, that's not to say that the Tar Heels didn't have good leadership last year. I think Mac Brown thought they didn't have enough of them on their team. And so I think he's trying to foster that and grow that as well. And so, you go 6-7 with a team that I think pretty clearly was better talent-wise than 6-7, then you're going to look at things and you're going to shake things up and you're going to be frustrated, and that's what you'd want. I don't think you'd want Mac Brown sitting there going, oh, well, yeah, we're fine. We just need to tweak a few things. I don't think that's it. I think the Heels understand that they needed to do a full evaluation of where they were and where they want to go.
Yeah, Mac Brown says he's going to be more hands-on with the offense this year. I know there was a lot of criticism for the Phil Longo scheme last year, and he has made a vow to fix the offensive line. He said, I asked them to fix it. They couldn't. They didn't fix it, and now I'm going to fix it, and that's the bottom line. You got Gene Chizik coming back on the defensive side. The search for a quarterback. There's a lot to be watching in these spring practices for the Tar Heels. Basketball season, though, and our next broadcast will be on Saturday. You will hear Jones, Angell, and the rest of the crew with the NC State game right here on ESPN Asheville. Jones, have a great one. We'll talk to you next Thursday. Get ready for the Duke game.
Thanks, Tank. Talk to you soon.
All right, have a great one. You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Well, after a spring-like fill for midweek, looks like a front clips Asheville and brings in some more February-like numbers to close the work week and takes on into this weekend. Some showers tonight, 55. Cooler on Friday. Chance for morning showers, high 58, low 33. And then highs in the 50s this weekend with light showers. Nighttime low temps down in the 30s this weekend, Saturday night, Sunday night. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic building 240 westbound on the Captain Jeff Bowen Bridge. In Haywood County, 40 westbound slow between Vines Creek Road and Harmon Den Road. Near Avery Creek, Bavard Road northbound approaching Long Shoals Road, light delays. Hendersonville Road moving well. Sweeten Creek Road southbound and northbound approaching Mills Gap Road, light delays. Smoky Park Highway moving well. Patton Avenue no problems. New Leicester Highway incident free. Checking the drive time from Bent Creek to Avery Creek via NC 191 southbound. Drive time 9 minutes. I'm Lyndon Field with your time saver traffic.
This report is sponsored by Mattress Warehouse's Clean Shop Promise. This week only at Mattress Warehouse's President's Day sale, save up to $800 and upgrade to an adjustable base for free. Mattress Warehouse has free next-day delivery available. Plus, get up to 60 months 0% interest financing. Visit sleephappens.com.
If you suffer from chronic joint pain, don't assume that steroid shots, pain pills, and surgery are your only options. You can now get real, lasting, life-changing relief from QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in using biologic therapies to repair damaged tissue in your aching joints. This advanced, unique treatment protocol uses natural biologic agents, mostly from your own body. These powerful, highly concentrated growth factors are put directly into your affected joint, going to work to soothe the inflammation and restore damaged tissue. A truly regenerative treatment. Finally, a new, different, highly successful approach to dealing with joint pain. Is it time you got a second opinion? Call QC Kinetics now and wake up to a life without pain. Call QC Kinetics today at 828-333-9517. That's 828-333-9517. QC Kinetics.
Nobody protects you from mayhem like Allstate. I'm a speed bump. Did you hear what I said? I'm a speed bump. And if you have cut-rate car insurance, the cost to reattach your muffler could really be a bump in the road. So switch to Allstate, save money, and be better protected from mayhem, like me.
Based on coverage and limits selected, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. In most states, prices vary based on how you buy. Allstate Bar and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
To demonstrate the power of Cricket nationwide 5G, we brought in this monster truck. And to tell you Cricket 5G is available on every plan at no extra charge, we brought in this fleet of monster trucks. Now that's power! Get powerful nationwide 5G on all plans at no extra charge. Plus a Cricket Dream 5G phone free when you switch. Tastes like power too. Smile, you're on Cricket.
Must bring your number to Cricket on a $60 a month plan. First month service charge and tax due at sale. Cricket 5G is not available everywhere. Fees, terms, and other restrictions apply. See cricketwireless.com for details.
Did you know select Ingles Markets now offer curbside service? Shopping has never been easier with all the quality and service you expect from Ingles. Visit ingles-markets.com to find a store near you and start shopping.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I am Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
The Sportsocracy.
Pull up your pants, take off the bra, and be a man.
The golden voice of Kevin Harlan, the greatest in the NFL. We got potential news coming out of New York. Yesterday, I think we mentioned this briefly, that the New York City mayor yesterday said he's going to look for the soonest possible way to get rid of all the vaccine mandate there in the city. They're making the recovery, and we can expect some announcements on how the city is going to move forward in the next couple of days. And that led everybody in the NBA world to jump on. Well, here it is. It's going to happen. Kyrie Irving is going to be available to the Brooklyn Nets full-time basis now. He'll be allowed to play again in his home stadium. And to me, this makes things very interesting for the rest of the East. We thought this was going to happen, but it was just more of an unknown. Now we have an actual guy who makes the decision coming on and saying it's a real possibility in the next couple of weeks.
And I genuinely couldn't care less if I tried.
You don't think Kyrie Irving being there full-time makes any bit of a difference?
I didn't say it made any bit of a difference. You're the 8th seed in the less than ideal East.
Mm-hmm.
Woo. And now you're trying to acclimate Ben Simmons, who never made a ton of sense to me with the Kyrie Irving. Okay. Are they better than Miami?
I think they can be.
It's not even close.
I think they can.
Bam Adebayo would average 40 points and 20 rebounds against them a night.
Really?
They are pathetically bad down low. Kyrie Irving doesn't fix that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're a good enough team. Kevin Durant's hurt for the 806th time.
Mm-hmm.
They still can't defend anybody.
Which Ben Simmons will help change that, right?
Okay, Kyrie Irving still couldn't defend the cup I'm drinking out of, and Kevin Durant's not a whole lot better,
right?
So they can score.
Mm-hmm.
Woo! I still look at this team and go, all right, so that makes you what, the 4 in the East? I'd still take Milwaukee over them. I'd take Boston over them. They're in that Bulls, Cavaliers range. Okay, maybe you'll pull an upset. You're still going to get smoked the first time you see the Bucks.
Mm-hmm.
You'll get smoked by the 76ers. You'll get smoked by the Heat. It just doesn't matter. There is a categoric flaw in the way this team is built, and there has been since the day Kevin Durant hitched his wagon to Kyrie Irving.
Okay.
There's a reason he has been forced out of every place he's ever been. Because A, he's a head case.
Mm-hmm.
B, he's not nearly as good as people think he is. He's a great ball handler. Good enough shooter. Decent scorer. Awful liability defensively. And he kills team chemistry. So now, you couldn't make this work with James Harden, who was the second scorer, comfortable with Durant. You couldn't make that work.
Right.
So now you're telling me he's going to find a way to make it work with another ball handler, which is one of the best things that Ben Simmons does, that can't shoot to save his life. So this is supposed to work. He had issues with LeBron in Cleveland. He had issues in Boston. He had issues with James Harden. Why am I supposed to think this is going to work? There's one common theme between all of this. He had one great run in the finals with LeBron.
Yep.
Other than that, he's one of the most overrated players I've ever seen. And I've said it since halfway through his first season in the league.
But does that not show that when it comes time, he can lock in, he can play the role that he needs to play to get it done? I mean, remember
you
back
mean with LeBron James?
I was going to say, remember back to those finals when it was him and LeBron. It wasn't LeBron carrying that whole thing. Kyrie had a claim to that as well.
And that's fine. He had a really good series.
Mm-hmm.
LeBron's still there. Now you have 3 guys that I've never seen be the one on a championship team. Good luck with that. I said this when Kevin Durant tied himself to Kyrie Irving.
Mm-hmm.
You will regret that, I promise you. Every superstar he has ever played with has come to hate him. Not just, we had issues. They hated each other.
Right.
Him and James Harden couldn't be in the same room with each other. So you get what you asked for. I mean, great. Now you get to play at home. Sad that we had to say that. Still don't understand why they would allow road players to play there, but common sense is not something that we do tremendously well in this country.
Especially in New York City.
I can't for the life of me figure out why this is supposed to change things.
Mm-hmm.
You were the 8th seed in the East with James Harden, who, fact or fiction, is better than Ben Simmons.
Oh, fact.
There you go. You were the 8th seed with James Harden.
Mm-hmm.
So now you think they're the 1? I mean, Vegas has them as the betting favorite right now to win the NBA Finals. That is the dumbest thing I think I've ever heard somebody say out loud.
Yeah, at betus.com, use the promo code Sportsocracy. When you make your deposit, they will match it, give you a deposit match of 125%. But at betus.com right now, they have them at plus 450, tied with the Phoenix Suns and the Golden State Warriors as the odds-on favorites.
Them.
Oh, I agree. I think this makes them a much more of a player in the East than they were. Because obviously with the injuries and not having everybody on the floor at the same time and not having that cohesion, it doesn't really matter to me that they're 8th in the East right now. Because you get all these guys on the floor, if what they're saying is true, that Kevin Durant could be back in a week, Ben Simmons will be ready to go in a week, you start putting these pieces together and getting some kind of a rhythm going into the playoffs. I would say easily they're one of the top 3 teams in the East that have a real shot to win it all.
Let me ask you a question,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just legitimately curious to see how close you can come to this.
Mm-hmm.
How many minutes have Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant been on the floor together this year?
It ain't much.
It's 82.
82 minutes?
It's 82 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah, it's 82 minutes. They split usage. Neither one is overwhelmingly efficient. It just doesn't make sense. It's never made sense. And now you've added an element because you put yourself in a corner. So you make the deal for James Harden. Well, that doesn't work out.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't work out with LeBron. Didn't work out in Boston. So why exactly am I supposed to think this is going to work with, without a doubt, the biggest head case he has ever played with?
Right.
Wait,
who are you talking about? Ben Simmons or Kevin Durant?
Well, Kevin Durant's 2, but Ben Simmons is a clear-cut number 1.
All right.
This is just like relationships.
Mm-hmm.
If you keep, you meet somebody new, things are fun for 3 or 4 months, and then it crashes into the ocean. By the 5th time, it's you. And you should really be able to introspectively look at yourself and acknowledge that.
Right.
Kyrie Irving can't do that. He can't. He has absolutely no self-awareness whatsoever.
Yeah.
He thinks it's always somebody else. And so now you're telling me that, all right, just walk yourself through who they would have to beat. All right, so in the first round, probably at best, you would have to beat a Milwaukee Bucks team that can put Drew Holiday on him at all times.
Oh, you mean if the playoffs started today?
No, I mean, if playoffs started today, they'd play in the play-in game, and they'd have to win twice to get in.
Yeah.
I'm projecting forward. You've got, 25 games left in the regular
season? Something like that, yeah.
There's 7 games out of first. I'm not saying they're way behind all these other teams. The problem that I have is that you don't match up with any of them. All right, so Milwaukee could put Drew Holiday on you. How are you going to stop Giannis? Ever. He will do to you what he wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Ben Simmons. Yeah, go back and watch what he did to Ben Simmons when they played the playoffs.
Right.
Didn't go well. Miami Heat. I can throw Jimmy Butler on one of the two of you because he can guard both of you.
Mm-hmm.
And now what? You have 2 guys that can legitimately score. You're counting on countless number of young guys that, yeah, they play a role. But at the end of the day, you can't defend anybody. I don't understand what this is supposed to so drastically change. Oh. We saw this last year. This team was, fact or fiction, this team was better last year than they are right now.
I don't know that to be true.
I thought that was a layup question. That was almost like me asking you your name. How in the world would they not be better? Full strength Kyrie Irving, full strength James Harden, full strength Kevin Durant.
Mm-hmm.
How is that not better than what you're trotting out there right now?
I just don't think those 3 guys fit well together.
They fit better than these 3 do.
Really?
And it's not even close.
Okay.
How many balls do you play with at one time?
One.
Are they planning on trotting out a second one? Because unless they do that, this makes no sense.
Well, see, that's what I thought about last year's team. But
James
all
Harden
these guys
can play off the ball.
Right.
I've seen him do it. Kyrie Irving can't do that. He can't. That is not. That's the reason that those 2 butted heads is because Kyrie Irving is ball dominant. Best thing he does, the all-star trait that he has, is he is a good facilitator and he's an elite ball handler that can get to the basket.
Mm-hmm.
Problem is, in his life, in his entire career, he's never made anyone around him better. So now you have a offensively deficient 3rd superstar that the only thing he does at a high level is handle the ball. How exactly is that supposed to work? All right, if I've got Jimmy Butler on Kevin Durant, who else scores? You think Ben Simmons is going to find some way to put up 25 a night?
It's Seth Curry time.
Oh, stop. Seth Curry on his 5th NBA team. Yeah, that's who's going to win you a title.
I think he's an important piece to one.
I didn't say he wasn't an important piece. I asked, who's going to steer you to victory when you have Giannis on Kevin Durant, Jimmy Butler on Kevin Durant, switched off of it here, Jaylen Brown on Kevin Durant. Now what? You've got a second superstar. The beauty of Ben Simmons and the curse when he was in Philadelphia is that he can get to the rim. There's no fear of Ben Simmons. Go one-on-one.
No fear?
I'm not worried about you going one-on-one at my big guy. Do what you want. You don't have anybody down low. So the thing I can't figure out is how do you think this is going to work? Kyrie Irving's not a good spot shooter, and he never has been.
Okay.
So was he? Now Ben Simmons just brings the ball up, and Kyrie Irving runs around aimlessly?
I think that's what they have in mind.
And
is
that will
Ben
blow
Simmons
up in
is
their
gonna
face.
Ben Simmons is going to be more of the facilitator here.
Mm-hmm. And I'm going to use your own words against you. That finals with LeBron, you know what they changed? Kyrie was the only ball handler, not the primary.
Right.
He was the only.
Right.
LeBron played off the ball. LeBron played down low, and he absolutely eviscerated Golden State. And the fact that Kyrie could do so many things with the ball in his hand is the only reason that he was so good.
Mm-hmm.
So now you're going to take all of the things he does well, but we've got Ben Simmons now. Tremendous.
Well, if Ben Simmons plays up to his capabilities,
which he never has,
especially defensively, sure he has. He's been a defensive player of the year, or at least a candidate for defensive player of the year.
That has absolutely nothing to do with offensive. You got 4 bad defenders on the floor with him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care how good Ben Simmons is. He's too easy to stay away from. All right, so he can handle one guy.
Mm-hmm.
Every team in the East that's a high-level contender has at least 2 offensive weapons. Whoever doesn't draw Ben Simmons is going to kill you. There's no getting away from that. You can throw every Steph Curry, Cam Thomas at that you want to. I don't care. It doesn't matter. It's a flawed build, and I said it was a flawed build when Kyrie went to Brooklyn.
All right. Well, we haven't seen them on the floor together yet. I still feel like this is a team that's absolutely loaded, and with some of the pieces that they have on the team, I feel like they can throw out a challenge to these top teams. Can they win a 7-game series against Philadelphia or Milwaukee? No, probably not. I'd give them a better shot against Miami. And I think I'd favor them over everybody else that's going to be in the East.
I would give them no shot against Miami, and they might hit 33s a night against them.
Miami would?
Yeah. That's a team built to beat Brooklyn. Oh, you just absolutely get eviscerated by 3-pointers? Cool, I got Tyler Hero and Duncan Robinson.
Right.
Yeah, I don't like your chances of defending that.
All right, let's get weird.
On the weird scale, there's Vegas, there's Florida, and there's Asheville. Let's get weird, Asheville.
All right, Jeremy, I don't think I've ever seen this before, but you bring in a new coach, and you expect things are going to change. The instruction will change a little bit as to your position groups and such, but I don't think I've ever seen a coach bring in new position coaches and then expect those guys to set the on-field example for the players. So the Miami Dolphins are talking about Mike McDaniel. Wes Welker is the wide receivers coach there in Miami. And they brought in Sam Madison as well as Patrick Surtain to coach defensive backs. And Mike McDaniel said yesterday that they are going to have several sessions or mini sessions that he hopes will take place at practices over and over and over again, where Wes Welker and Madison or Surtain will match up one-on-one to show the guys how it's supposed to be done on the field. He did go on to say that those will take place as long as there is no, quote, barring old man injury, that the guys are going to get to learn from some of the best to ever do it, but they're the coaches, and they're going to be setting the example on the field. I'm really interested to see if we get to, if we get to see these. I'm sure they're going to put these on social media. We will get to see if Wes Welker could still do it. I don't think I've ever seen leading by example like this in the NFL.
It's an aggressive strategy. Let's see how it works out for him. Jess Harkin is a 25-year-old from Donegal County in Ireland, and she has a common problem. She is single, and she doesn't have enough time because her professional life keeps her from meeting people. So she started an account on the dating app Tinder. And things were going fine. She got plenty of messages. Everything was going nicely until Tinder took down her profile. According to Tinder, she committed one great big infraction that you're not allowed to do. She was promoting her business. She's a clown. She's Kazoo the clown, and all of her profile pictures were of her in full clown makeup.
Uh-huh.
Now, I have a litany of questions here. One, who in their right mind goes, you know what I'm missing in my life? Clown. I need a clown. I am so unbelievably mortified, terrified of clowns that if I had ever done Tinder, I would see a clown and go, yep, I'm out. I'm out. I'm not doing this anymore. I'll just be single forever.
Right.
If it's be alone or the clown, I'm good with alone. I can sit at home and watch Ready, Set, Cook, and I'll be just fine.
Ready, Set, Cook.
Apparently, she filed a complaint with Tinder that she was not trying to promote her brand. She was just showing pictures of her personality, and she felt like before she got into a relationship with someone, putting her best foot forward was them knowing that she was a clown, because apparently that tends to be, and I quote, a problem for some people.
No kidding.
Hi, I'm some people.
I mean, when I feel like a pretty big sliver of the population is deathly afraid of your profession.
Of course they are, because they're terrifying. It's a walking, talking doll. It's terrifying.
It depends on the makeup, but yeah, I mean,
all terrifying.
Yeah, I don't know.
None of them are good.
I don't know why you would think this would be a good icebreaker for.
Look, I'm happily committed. If I was single and I was in a bar and I met a young lady, she said, things are going nicely.
Right.
Have a beverage or two.
Right.
What do you do? It was the sports talk show. What do you do? I'm Kazoo the Clown. Oh, it was nice to meet you. That's going to be the end of this interaction.
Jeremy's one of the ones that was always deathly afraid when the when the clowns would come through in the Christmas parade.
A, never been to a Christmas parade. B, never had a clown at my birthday party.
Well, I mean, I can understand that.
A lot of people ask me if I got scared by a clown at like one of my parties as a child. No. I have never liked clowns.
Just
nope.
Just somebody in wild makeup and flamboyant clothes. You're just out. You don't like it.
Anybody that it's just a ton of makeup, clowns, dolls, Tammy Faye Baker, just all of them. No. I'm scared of all of them.
I was going to say, be careful. There's a lot of cosmetics in your household.
That's true. That's not a lot of makeup.
That's not a lot.
That's not, hiding your face under a mask.
That's true. It is. It's a little bit different.
I'm going to be honest with you.
What kind of a guy do you have to be to look at the clown and go, I want to date that?
That's what I want to know. How lonely are you that you go, I'm going to message the clown?
People are weird. That's a question you don't ask. Like if your friend ever says something about, I kind of like clowns, don't ask them where that's going, because you're not going to like the answer.
Just be done with that friend. Like you need new friends now. Will you take pictures of your shoes and send them to me? There's something wrong with you, and I need to go away now.
Right. All right, so Jeremy, you're out on the Brooklyn Nets. You don't think that they have a shot at winning the title this year?
No, I think it's comical that people are just throwing their money away. They're the favorite now. Yeah. Why?
Well, it's because you look at the roster on paper and you go, that looks like a championship roster. You got Kyrie Irving, you got Kevin Durant and Ben Simmons. That's a hell of a start. You throw in Seth Curry, who's statistically one of the best three-point shooters of all time in the NBA.
Defensive liability. Defensive liability.
Andre Drummond has come in. He's played pretty well since he's been there. I mean, heck,
stat accumulator.
Hey, they've won games without Kyrie and Kevin Durant with these two playing. So maybe there's something to that. They just got Goran Dragic on the buyout market.
No, back up. First of all, Goran Dragic is that tank is on 100% E.
Really?
Who exactly have they beaten with Andre Drummond that's making you go, yeah, that?
Well, I didn't say it was contenders.
I'm
just
the
saying
Knicks
they
and
won.
the Kings. That's the two teams they've beaten.
I'm just saying they won. They snapped an 11-game losing streak by winning those games. And Seth and Andre played pretty well. Didn't say they had beat the Bucks or anything.
Yeah, then they played the Washington Wizards, who are absolutely horrible.
Mm-hmm.
And got smoked.
That they did.
At home. Yeah, that's an NBA Finals contender. But they didn't have
any of the three stars that they plan on playing with.
Yeah, and you have no idea what you're getting out of Ben Simmons because you haven't seen him.
Oh, I know that.
I'm good.
I know it's
I'm going to let other people set their money on fire. There are too many good ways to actually make money.
Oh, I'm not saying you should wager your money on it. I'm just saying don't completely discount it until we've seen it.
Okay, let's play a fun game. Name me the last team that won an NBA Finals that could 100% not play dead in the Western on defensively.
On defense?
They're going to have 3 net negative defenders on the court at all times. There is no way away from that.
Mm-hmm.
Name me the last one.
Can't.
That's because I don't think they exist. I've gone back 30 years and I haven't found one yet.
They ain't never been one.
So I don't know who it would be, but I can tell you it hasn't happened since like my birth, and I really struggle to believe that it happened in the 60s, 70s, or 80s.
Yeah, I think at this point, I mean,
this is the Phoenix Suns all over again, which is funny because their head coach was on that team. It's that team all over again. Cool, you can score a bunch of points.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet. You couldn't stop a nosebleed with 10 rolls of paper towels.
Oh, this is what the Nash Stoudemire.
Yeah. Just Sean Marion.
Sean Marion, yeah.
Yeah, weird. That team has a lot of the same tenets to it.
Kind of do.
You had 2 players that were really good offensively that were absolutely terrible defensively. Then you had one guy, he can play defense. Yeah, but he's not exactly the most dynamic offensive player you've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds exactly like this team.
It does. It does sound eerily familiar to this team. I feel like at this point, the East, I still feel like the Bucks are my favorite to come out of the East. But I don't see anybody beating Phoenix or Golden State. I feel like that's going to be the NBA final in the Western Conference Finals, and whoever wins that is just going to win.
Yeah, I think you're underselling who comes out of the East. The East is going to be ferocious because there's a lot of teams that are so close.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't in any way buy that's who's coming out of there.
Well,
you've got the odds pulled up, and I don't.
Yeah.
I'm curious. What are the Memphis Grizzlies?
The Memphis Grizzlies, you can get them right now for a cool plus 2,500.
Let me procure this to make sure I hit this as aggressively as I can.
To win the NBA title.
All over it.
Okay.
All over it.
Interesting.
Not saying they're going to. That's the best value on the board. Basically, if you'd said anything above plus 1,500, I'd have been all over it.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, during the break, I might have to go to betos.com, use promo code Sportsocracy, and lay that one myself.
You could also get the Boston Celtics for plus 2,800.
They could be plus 28 million, and I would still
You wouldn't do it.
Mm-mm.
Just wouldn't do it.
At that point, I'd probably throw a 10 spot at it.
All right, you got 5 to put on it? This went very, very well for Jeremy last night.
Flawless! Can't do it better, undefeated, and we're going to do it again tonight.
Nice.
First one, Illinois is a 6-point favorite tonight against Ohio State. I got 50 on it. Illinois has Kofi Cockburn. Who exactly for Ohio State is supposed to stop him? He should be able to do absolutely whatever he wants to. Illinois is one of the best defensive teams in the Big Ten. The only way Ohio State can contend with teams is if they can outscore them because they're not very good defensively. I got 50 on it, Illinois minus the 6. Gave these 2 earlier. I got 50 on it. The Chicago Bulls are a 3.5-point favorite against the Atlanta Hawks tonight. First of all, the Atlanta Hawks are absolutely dreadful on the road. Second, they don't have John Collins. So you've only got one scorer to go up against a very balanced Bulls team, and they're in Chicago, and I'm only laying just a hair over a bucket. All over it. I got 50 on it. Chicago Bulls minus 3.5. Finally, my favorite one of the night. The Golden State Warriors take on the Portland Trailblazers. Over-under is 226. Since Portland made the deal of C.J. McCollum, they play at a ridiculous fast pace. They're scoring, I think, the 11th most points in the league off the fast break, that doesn't sound like much until you realize how slow this team was playing beforehand. They're going to try to score with Golden State. The fact this is on the road tells me it might stay closer for longer. And I think they blow this out of the water. I think this is 10 points too low. I got 50 on it. Over 226 between the Golden State Warriors and the Portland Trailblazers.
And always take your wagers over to betus.com. BetUS.com. Use the promo code Sportsocracy. Get that 125% deposit bonus when you use our promo code Sportsocracy at betus.com.
Those of you on the YouTube stream are about to see my favorite graphic I've ever done ever.
Yeah, that's right. Because Jeremy's mad when we come back.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Construction is slowing traffic in Haywood County 40 westbound between Vines Creek Road and Harmon-Den Road. On the Captain Jeff Bowen Bridge, traffic moving well, busy and steady. Smoky Park Highway northbound approaching Sand Hill Road, a few light delays. Patton Avenue moving well. New Leicester Highway, no backups. Merriman Avenue incident-free and Biltmore Avenue moving well. Hendersonville Road, no problem. Sweeten Creek Road, incident-free. Checking the drive time from Mills River to Hendersonville via NC 191 southbound, drive time 15 minutes. I'm Lyndon Phil with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by NBC's Law & Order. It's back, the show that started it all. The original Law & Order. Anthony Anderson and Sam Waterston return in the can't-miss premiere America's been waiting for. Law & Order returns tonight on NBC. Justice is back in session.
What's done more to improve overall health and wellness? Modern medicine or personal hygiene? Actually, it's both. But considering that bathing went mainstream in the 1800s and brushing your teeth in the 1900s, isn't it time for something new, like cleaning your nose? After all, your nose is the body's air filter for trapping dirt and germs, the first line of defense against allergens, bacteria, and viruses from getting into your lungs. But how do you clean your nose? With Navage. Navage isn't medicine, it's more like plumbing. Navage uses powered suction to pull saline in one nostril to the very back of the nose where germs can get trapped and multiply, and then out the other nostril, flushing out mucus and microbes so you can breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier. Join over 2 million others and find out for yourself how refreshing and easy to use Navage is. At Navage.com, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Bed Bath, and Target. Navage. Clean nose, healthy life.
When you need a taco, you need a taco. Try the new Cantina Crispy Chicken Taco from Taco Bell with your choice of creamy chipotle or avocado ranch at participating U.S. Taco Bell locations for a limited time. Contact local store for prices, hours, and participation which vary. Tax extra.
You're always up for some fun with the family, so you order the essentials, a new board game, some baking supplies, and even a new projector for outdoor movie night. And with the Bank of America customized Cash Rewards credit card, you can choose to earn 3% cash back on online shopping, which could increase to up to 5.25% as a preferred rewards member. Rewards which you can put toward an extra treat that everyone will enjoy, like an old-fashioned popcorn machine. Visit bankofamerica.com/more rewarding and apply now. Copyright 2021 Bank of America Corporation.
At Ingles, we know the ever-present struggle of, what am I going to make for dinner this week? That's why we started the Ingles Table. It's a website that brings the best chefs and food experts right into your kitchen. You can sort through hundreds of recipes for every occasion, watch how-to videos, and print shopping lists to take to the store. It's all waiting for you at ingles-markets.com. Ingles. Low prices. Love the savings.
Dirty Turkish back flat. I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take this anymore. Back flat.
Good. Let the hate flow through you.
There are very few things that I absolutely never touch in this segment, but we're about to touch on one. No, it's not what you think. It's baseball. Baseball has basically come out and said if they do not have a union agreement by Monday, there will be canceled games. And they can't even agree on why that matters. First of all, you play entirely too many games as it is, so shortening the season, absolutely not the worst thing that you could possibly come out with. But the thing that's kind of bothering me is the New York Yankees have an outfielder. His name's Joey Gallo. In the midst of all of this strife, you can't even figure out what this strike is about. And he goes on record to complain about shifts. Oh, we shouldn't be able to shift. Here's his quote. I think at some point you have to fix the game a little bit. I don't understand how I'm supposed to hit a double or a triple when I have 6 guys standing in the outfield. That's the whole point! Do you not understand that that is the point of the game, is to prevent you from doing that? I feel like that has got to be the stupidest thing I have ever heard somebody say out loud. That would be like Steph Curry saying, I feel like I can't hit 16 three-pointers because they let people put their hand in my face. Baseball, tell me you're irrelevant without telling me you're irrelevant. I'm mad.
I love that Jeremy's getting all wound up about the shift in baseball.
Like, you literally can't even get on the field, and somebody puts a microphone in your face, and instead of talking about anything like that, well, I'm really mad that people keep doing things to keep me from, scoring. That's what they're supposed to do.
The shift. Yes, that's one of those baseball-y type of arguments that you never come back from.
They shouldn't put 6 in the outfield. Well, when some dude shows up to the plate that's 6'4", 260, what do you want to be? What do you think you're going to bunt?
Right. Joey, I insist that you go watch this little movie called Bull Durham. Bull Durham, very popular movie, and there was a quote in there from Susan Sarandon's character where she said, "Hit them where they ain't, boys." At some point, this is what ticks me off about the shift argument. At some point, as a hitter, you have to go, hey, maybe I need to figure out how to not hit it that way.
Yeah.
Because they're shifting that way because that's the only place you can hit it.
It's kind of like, hey, when Shaquille O'Neal was in the NBA, if he caught the ball at 25 feet, nobody guarded him. You know why? Because he couldn't hit it. Kind of the same premise. Yeah. We know you cannot put a ball right here, so we're not going to put somebody there. And that's what you're mad about.
And speaking of the shift, I'm going through a major shift right now. Jeremy, you are as well. We are losing weight like mad right now with the PhD weight loss program. We have a combined weight loss goal of over 200 pounds. And right now, we're more than a quarter of the way there. I am over 40 pounds down now in 12 weeks with the PhD weight loss program, and I love the fact that they do this without some crazy timetable. I've done a program before that only puts you like on a 3-month timetable of I want you to lose all this weight and do it really, really quickly. This relieves the pressure. You can do it on a reasonable scale. And Dr. Ashley Lucas and the folks at PhD Weight Loss can help you reach your goals.
This is the lowest I've weighed since my time in high school. I feel great. I'm sleeping better. And I can't emphasize enough how convenient it is to have healthy food at your fingertips at all times.
They will give you 80% of the food that you need to have success on this program. The rest is all up to you. Stay on the program and you will have success. Go to myphdweightloss.com today. That's myphdweightloss.com. Happy hour's coming up next on the YouTube stream. We'll be back here tomorrow on ESPN Asheville at 3.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Well, after a spring-like fill for midweek, looks like a front clips Asheville and brings in some more February-like numbers to close the work week and take sun into this weekend. Some showers tonight, 55. Cooler on Friday. Chance for morning showers, high 58, low 33. And then highs in the 50s this weekend with light showers. Nighttime low temps down in the 30s this weekend, Saturday night, Sunday night. I'm meteorologist Scott Lariamore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This report is sponsored by Allstate. Are you a safe driver? Are you looking to save money? With DriveWise from Allstate, the safer you drive, the more you can save. At Allstate, better protection costs a whole lot less. Visit allstate.com or call an agent for a quote today.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Construction is slowing traffic in Haywood County 40 westbound between Vines Creek Road and Harmon-Den Road. On the Captain Jeff Bowen Bridge, traffic moving well, busy and steady. Smoky Park Highway northbound approaching Sand Hill Road, a few light delays. Patton Avenue moving well. New Leicester Highway, no backups. Merriman Avenue incident-free and Biltmore Avenue moving well. Hendersonville Road, no problem. Sweeten Creek Road, incident-free. Checking the drive time from Mills River to Hendersonville via NC 191 southbound. Drive time 15 minutes. I'm Lyndon Phil with your time saver traffic.
This report is sponsored by NBC's Law & Order. It's back. The show that started it all. The original Law & Order. Anthony Anderson and Sam Waterston return in the can't-miss premiere America's been waiting for. Law & Order returns tonight on NBC. Justice is back in session.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart Radio Station.
Put the bunny back in the box.
The following program is intended for mature audiences.
A democratic republic of sports. The Sportsocracy with ESPN Asheville hosts Tank Spencer and Jeremy Greene.
And welcome back into the Sportsocracy. Tank Spencer and Jeremy Greene here with you in the Ingles Studio. And welcome into a Threadbare Thursday. It is time for the happy hour. And man, it feels good. Life just feels good right now. I mean, to me, I know that we don't I don't know that you can really understand this, Jeremy, but on my mind right now is how good I feel about this PhD thing. I think people just take for granted how much 40 pounds actually means to somebody walking around. And I know you've been looking at me weird walking around the building every day and doing my laps around the building while you're outside. I just feel different. I feel different. Life is good. It's a Threadbare Thursday. Anything you want talked about, we will talk about here over the next hour. And already Matthew Hoffman says he's got a DFS question for you tonight. Do you go Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum against the Nets tonight, or just one of them?
Let me look.
And if just one, then which one do you have coming out better tonight?
If I was playing NBA DFS tonight, which I have to admit I am not, but if I was, I would have. I don't know that I would have either. I don't know that I'd have either one of them. I say I would be stacking Hawks, Bulls. I would have all the DeMar DeRozan. I don't care how much he cost.
Right.
And then I'd probably have some D'Angelo Russell from Minnesota. Jaren Jackson from Memphis. That's probably how I would go.
Okay.
And then you cannot undervalue Nikola Jokic against the Kings. I don't care who it is. I don't care what big guy they put in the middle of that lineup. They haven't been able to stop a big guy in 10 years.
Is he your guy? Like, do you play him all the time when you play DFS?
Jokic, I mean, he's incredibly expensive, but he's also incredibly consistent.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's not quite averaging the triple-double that he got close to last year.
He would still probably, if I had to vote for MVP, he would probably be my MVP this year.
Really?
God, he's so good.
Over Embiid?
That's the two. I mean, to me, there's not really another person to even talk about.
Mm-hmm.
DeMar DeRozan would probably be my three. I'm looking at Jokic's game like, good God. He's 12-5 on DraftKings.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, he's had one game under 50 in the last forever. The 93. I had him that night. That was against the Clippers.
What about your Nuggets? You think you think they got a shot here?
No, I don't.
No shot in the West.
Well, I mean, there's just four teams better than them. The Jazz, Grizzlies, Warriors, and Suns are just better than they are. And there's not a whole lot that you can do about that. But
right.
Yeah, Hoffman, to answer your question, I would probably have neither of them, and I would be stacking out of
Chicago and Atlanta.
I'd have something from Atlanta. I just can't figure out what it is.
It's got to be Trey, right?
Probably. He's so expensive. He would probably be Trey.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if Collins is going to be out, then everything's got to run through Trey.
Yeah, the problem is that then you could put Levine on him. And Levine's not a great defender, but he's so much bigger.
Mm-hmm.
And he hasn't been great against Chicago. There is a member of Atlanta that I would like tonight. I just can't for the life of me figure out who it is. If Clint Capella was good at like anything.
At anything?
He's a good defender. Unfortunately, they don't give you DraftKings points for that, so that doesn't really matter.
Really? You don't get points on DraftKings for like steals and blocks and stuff like that?
I mean, that's a very myopic part of what he does.
Mm-hmm.
This might be a Danilo night.
Now he wants to play DFS.
I do. That's actually exactly what I was sitting here thinking. Is now I do want to play.
Now he does want to play tonight. So thank you,
that's
Matthew
something
Hoffman, for that.
That is something we could do now that football's over. Let's have a little DFS segment in this every day.
Mm-hmm.
And I love making people money. Made Armchair some money last night because he parlayed my the 5 on it picks. That Duke game went exactly how I thought it would if they both had scored 2 more times. Score was perfect.
Did you have
Everything
the over?
was perfect. I did have the stupid.
You had the over. Yeah, well, I thought it was a very nice touch. Tony Bennett they did the honor Coach K ceremony before the tip-off. Did you see that? And they gave him a big plaque with a big plaque with the Coach K jersey and all of that. I thought it was very nice. It was a very nice thing to do. I know there were some people that were upset, like Carolina should have done something like that for Coach K. No, they should not have.
Carolina fans would have lost their
Absolutely. I mean, the guy, give him credit, all the credit in the world for what he's been able to do at Duke, but there is not a shot in hell that you do any kind of a ceremony to remember Coach K. We're all going to be happier when this era is over. So no, we're not doing any of that. Did Duke do anything for Roy Williams? No.
Well, they
didn't know he was leaving, but still, would they have? No. You don't do that stuff like that for your bitter rival. I mean, you do look at baseball, though. I mean, the Sox did do that for, like, Derek Jeter when he came through. So, I don't know. To me, it would have seemed hollow. And then the fact that you had half the crowd chanting, "Fuck Coach K," that was bad.
Bad?
That was bad.
That's exactly what it should. It's exactly what you should do.
Oh, come on.
Sportsmanship's overrated.
Oh, come on. It was a bad look.
Sportsmanship's overrated.
It ain't overrated.
Oh, you be your best friend. So that piss on you. Get out of here. I'm fine with it.
What?
I don't need those hollow-ass, disingenuous moments. Oh, we love you. No, we don't. We hated you for 40 years. And everybody with an IQ above salad dressing knows it.
Yeah.
You want to respect a guy? Cool. If fans want to scream out, I don't care.
Right. There are just some people in the sports world that you absolutely have to hate. If you're a fan of a certain team, you have those people that you absolutely hate. Some of them you can tip your cap to and say, we hated you, but you did a fine job. I heard somebody talking the other day about baseball and how A-Rod had shockingly become the face of baseball now for fans watching on television.
Well, it's easy because nobody knows who the players are.
Are you? But, I mean, I get that they throw him on everything, but to me, that kills it. That kills baseball more than anything for me. I can't stand A-Rod.
It's hard to kill something that's long been dead.
Oh, stop that. It's not dead. Just because you want it to be dead doesn't mean it's dead. Every sports fan has a baseball team. Pretty much.
I don't.
Okay.
Here's the fun thing. Every sports fan has a baseball team. Ask them how many players on that team they can name.
Mm-hmm.
It's a niche sport. It's where it is. It's where it's been forever. And it's getting worse.
Oh, definitely. The lockout's only helping that.
I don't think it has any involvement in it, honestly. If you're still here this would be the third time, you're not going anywhere. Well, the problem is that you're not bringing in. Name me the last thing baseball did that the lay fan cared about.
What do you mean?
Name me the last event that happened on the field in baseball that the average sports fan gave a flying rat's ass about.
It's hard to.
It's
hard to quantify.
It's really not. It's Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire.
That was it.
That was the last time that anything caught and then you spent 20 years trying to invalidate that.
You had Barry after that. Barry caught, he caught a lot for that.
Okay. didn't captivate the nation because there was already rumors about, but he was doing steroids. And then you spent 20 years trying to invalidate that.
That was the biggest story of that summer, was the chase of the all-time record.
Yeah, maybe I'm remembering that differently. But then again, I was like 15 years old. So.
Every day was Barry watch. Has he hit another one? Oh, there's number 745 or whatever.
Yeah, let's say you do realize that was 17 years ago, right?
Oh, yeah.
And you've done nothing in the offing except try to invalidate that. Play a fun game. In the comments, name me how many baseball players you could pick out by name. Be more fun if I said, hey, you can't say Giancarlo Stanton, Ohtani, or Aaron Judge.
Right.
And now? There's nothing, right?
There's only like 50 more.
That the average fan could name?
Ronald Acuna, Fernando Tatis Jr. I mean,
okay, you're at 2.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you, the average fan
probably they don't know who those guys are.
Yeah, you're a Braves affiliate. That kind of throws you off the beaten path. I'm talking average fan coast to coast. Average fan in Seattle has not one damn clue who Ronald Acuna is.
Bullshit.
Average regular fan. I'm not saying baseball fan. I don't give a fuck about baseball fan. I have to bring in baseball fan's mom. Yeah, they don't have the foggiest of a clue who he is.
Mike Trout.
And I'll be honest with you,
Betts.
JT Money said it in the comments, that doesn't have Junior at the end.
Right.
That takes out 3 more.
Yeah, Vlad Guerrero.
So now you're getting to, shit. You host a sports talk show. Name a starting pitcher for the, let's say, random team here, St. Louis Cardinals.
Yep.
There you go.
That's what I got.
Name an offensive lineman for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Cam Robinson.
There you go. Case in point.
Case in point. All right. I feel like I feel like the lockout is going to matter us depending on how many games they win.
How much worse could it get?
Or they lose.
Honestly, how much worse could it get?
Oh, it can always get worse.
How?
You keep driving a wedge in between your sport and the fans, and you're going to see how much worse it can get. At this point, you should be clamoring for any fan that you can get. And when you talk about money all the time, which is what it seems like, remember, we only had the 60-game season because they couldn't get together on an agreement sooner to give us a longer season during the shutdown. And now, 2 years later, we're back in the same boat again, and you're talking about canceling games. Like, if we don't have a deal by Monday, we're going to start canceling games.
Which you should, by the way.
How much has the outcry been because of that? I haven't seen much at all.
What about canceling games?
Right.
Because nobody cares.
Right.
Because nobody cares.
It's bad. It's bad for the sport.
This is all you need. All right, so this is this argument in a nutshell.
Mm-hmm.
Average NBA game on ESPN averages how many million viewers? They do this 3 times a week.
Mm-hmm. The what?
Average NBA game on ESPN averages how many million viewers?
4.
It's 1.5.
Okay.
Baseball does it 1 time a week on Sunday night. What'd that average last year?
Half.
1.1. Tells you everything you need to know.
No.
You do it 1 time a week and still nobody cares. You ever notice that nobody in the national media talks about baseball? You know why? Because the numbers are pathetically bad.
Mm-hmm.
They're hard to quantify bad.
And it's also a regional sport. Much more than the NBA.
And what's that region?
Huh?
And what's that region?
Around your team.
No.
Yeah.
Baseball is a northeast sport at this point. That's what it is. Take away Boston and New York.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what that number, the number I just said, do you know what that number does?
No.
Cut in half. Cut in half if you take out 2 cities.
Mm-hmm.
Now, granted, one of them's the number 1 media market in the world. So,
Right.
That obviously is a big chunk of it.
Right.
At this point, baseball is what college football and college basketball were once said to be.
Mm-hmm.
And they have another big, huge problem. You can't bet on it.
Yeah, it is very, very difficult.
That was another thing that absolutely killed baseball. You can't bet on it.
Right.
You can bet on college basketball, whether you know anything about it or not. Doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
There's websites everywhere. There are people like me that give up picks everywhere. And it gives you a reason to watch it.
Yeah, but that's what I was saying. I think that's the thing that hurts baseball, though, because on Sunday Night Baseball, if you don't have the Yankees, if you don't have the Red Sox, then you've got, I don't know, Chicago White Sox against the Los Angeles Angels. Random fans are not going to tune in for that because it doesn't matter.
Which still should drive a number. The NBA doesn't
and it does. You said it, 1.1 million viewers, fine. And I would love to see a breakdown of that, of where those viewers are coming from. Because the average baseball fan, I don't feel like is watching Sunday Night Baseball. Because you don't have to.
They're not watching anything. The average number of viewers for the World Series was lower than the Daytona 500.
Right.
I mean, come on. And this is one of those times that I will never understand why baseball fans fight this so hard.
Mm-hmm.
Because everything you see tells you now you now watch a niche sport. There's nothing wrong with that.
Mm-hmm.
Damn near every sport is a niche sport if it doesn't have a pigskin in the middle of it.
Right.
But now baseball and hockey are damn near the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
They're the same thing. And you get demolished by soccer. You get just boat raced by the NFL. You get boat raced by college football. Boat raced.
Mm-hmm.
8 times more viewership for college football than baseball.
Mm-hmm.
We don't talk about hockey either.
Right.
But for some reason, baseball fans have this, I can't let it go. It's the national. No, it's not. No, it's not. And here's the thing. As generations get older, name me a 22-year-old you know that gives a fuck about baseball.
I don't know many 22-years-olds. So.
Name a 32-year-old you know that gives a fuck about baseball.
Caleb Peak.
I don't. Secret time? I don't know how old Caleb Peak is.
I don't either. He's got to be in that neighborhood. You could tell me he was
26 or 46, and I would go, okay.
I think he's in that range. He's somewhere in that 26 to 32 range. He's pretty young.
I fully believe that Caleb Peak has Benjamin Button disorder, though. Like, he was born 80, and he's going backwards. I love that kid, by the way. This is not me talking shit, but he is the oldest soul I think I've ever met in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that about him. Because I'm getting older and getting more immature as I go.
And he's, see, Steven Tao says, Mike Trout's a draw. Yeah. So you added one to the list.
Is he, though? A draw. People spend their money to go see Mike Trout.
Yes.
Ooh, let's play a fun game.
Okay. What's your fun game?
I'll tell you in a minute.
Okay.
Keep going. It'll take me a minute to pull this up. Holy God.
Steven's house says Caleb's 127.
I love Caleb. All right, the Los Angeles Angels, who have the draw. Oh, he's such a draw.
Yep.
Do you know where they finished in attendance last year?
The Angels?
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, it's probably horrible.
God, there they are. Good Lord,
it's probably horrible. Being in LA, hell, they couldn't even get people to go to a celebration of the Super Bowl in LA. So God knows what a baseball game is going to draw.
But now this is in Anaheim.
Mm-hmm.
There is a huge difference between the two. It's not like in Anaheim you're competing with the Ducks and probably Disney on Ice.
Mm-hmm.
It was 18.6. That's the number they tell you, not the number of the people that actually go.
18.6.
That's how many people went per night.
Okay.
18,600.
Yep.
I'll be shocked if it was 6,000. Go pull up pictures from that. Twitter did baseball no favors because people love to take pictures of the crowd and go, there are 9 people here.
Mm-hmm.
The problem, there are about 3 problems with baseball you're never going to beat.
Okay.
1, it's expensive.
Yeah.
Not to play, to produce. Because these stadiums are big. You do it a bunch of times.
Mm-hmm.
You got too much inventory. People are really impatient and slow.
Mm-hmm.
The faster something is, the more likely it is to catch on.
Agreed.
It's the reason people are obsessed with TikTok, which blows my mind.
Right.
Oh, look, I can do it in 34 seconds.
And this is why the younger of the generation that does like baseball is big fans of, so I think somebody said it earlier in the comments, more home runs, bring back the steroids, bring back the power bats.
People still wouldn't care. Still wouldn't care.
Give me a pitch clock.
Still wouldn't care. Still would not care.
Okay.
At the end of the day, your game at the fastest is going to be 2:45. It's probably the fastest you will ever see this game be.
Sure.
You know how long an NBA game is? From pillar to post, you're about 2 hours.
2.5.
And even then, people just tap out and go, too many timeouts.
Right. It's a fun in-person sport, baseball is.
Mm-hmm. That's what people say about hockey.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun to watch in the stadium.
Yep. Exactly. I'm not saying baseball is any better than hockey. I just don't watch hockey. That's why we don't talk about it.
To me, the NHL is curmudgeonly too. They've done more things to try to make it a viable product.
Mm-hmm.
I would argue the NHL now does All-Star Weekend better than the NBA does.
Okay.
You have a 3-on-3 tournament. That's you know what? That's I'm not gonna lie. I watched it.
Did you?
Not all of it. I saw it on and I went, let's check it out for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Baseball All-Star Game, if you tied me to a chair, I would chew my way
out. Baseball All-Star Game, it's the home run derby and nothing else. It's that
just
that Monday night home run derby, and then I'm done. I don't care about the game. I don't care anything about it. Now, I used to watch the All-Star Game when there was something on the line, but you took that away because people bitched about it. So now it really means nothing. So it is what it is.
Ooh. I was just comparing NHL attendance to Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
Baseball has a problem.
Of course they do.
A massive, non-fixable problem.
Of course
the
they do.
NHL and Major League Baseball, and this is coming from what you just said about, it's better in person.
Yeah.
Over 2/3 of the league in the NHL fill 80+% of their arena every night.
Mm-hmm. Well, what do they do? 82 games? Somewhere in that neighborhood?
Yeah.
Similar to basketball?
Yeah.
So, sure. I got twice that many in baseball. See, that's the thing.
Well,
and I think if you...
see, that argument would hold some water with me, except you can't sell out big games.
It depends on where you are. I have never been...
Take out the 5 big markets. Pittsburgh Pirates sell out nothing.
True.
Miami Marlins. You could have the Field of Dreams cast show up in Miami,
Indeed.
and you still wouldn't hit 10,000 people.
Tampa Bay Rays, Kansas City Royals, all of these franchises. I get it. They don't sell out anything.
Here's the bad thing.
I mean,
you just said Kansas City. That was one of the first ones that you went, nobody goes to those games.
Yeah.
They're in the top 20 in attendance. You got 11 teams that are worse than them.
Right. I was going to say, there's
but
30
that
teams.
puts
so
you
they ain't
in
great.
the mid half of the league.
Right.
Oh, God. They have a third of the league averages less than 15,000 people a night.
Mm-hmm.
That's bad.
Yeah.
Bad.
Mm-hmm. Where are the Braves at on that? I'm just curious.
Second. Yeah. See, that's why people here are biased.
Right.
That's the reason I've always caught so much flack is because, but the Braves matter. No, the Braves matter to you.
Mm-hmm.
You who has never really left the South. Go to. I'll give you an example of a place that I've spent a good amount of time. Go to Chicago. They give fuck less about the Braves. Couldn't care less if they tried.
Of course not. They care about their teams.
They
care
not
about
really.
the Cubs.
They care about the Cubs.
They care about the White Sox.
A very small percent of the population cares about the White Sox.
Right, but that's the point that I was making about it being a regional sport is because unless your teams are on, you're not going to watch it. I mean, every time the Red Sox are on, I'm going to watch it.
Stephen Tao said NHL arenas are markedly smaller. Funny you said that because the teams in the NHL, all right, I said that there were a tenth or 30% of the league didn't draw 15,000 or more. Guess what percentage of the NHL doesn't? Same. It's the bottom 10.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same. You're right. That's kind of the whole point. Is that there's more seats in a baseball stadium. The attendance looks exactly the same.
Yeah.
If you take away the top, the Boston Red Sox, Yankees, wow, they are way lower than I would have thought they would have been. You take them away, it looks like hockey.
Mm-hmm.
And it's in markedly bigger stadiums.
And Stephen Tao beat me to it here. Weekend numbers. I'd love to see the disparity between the weekend numbers and the weekday numbers.
Yeah, that's been debunked multiple times.
Really?
Yeah,
you don't think that is a standing thing, that weekend games in Major League Baseball draw way more than weekday
because
games?
People don't spend their weekends doing this. It's a myth. The NBA did this at one point because there was a running thought that, we have to get more games on Friday and Saturday night. If you notice, the NBA stopped doing that. You know why? Because they figured out their television number went in the fucking tank. If people won't sit in their house and watch it, they're not going to spend the money to spend their Friday or Saturday night doing it. That's another problem that baseball has. It's the reason you see so many more day games now.
Oh yeah.
Now that helps a little bit.
The weekend day games, that's the hallmark.
I wish I could remember who did that study on weekend numbers in the NBA, because there was a thought of we should. If you remember, they used to do 80 games on Sundays.
Right.
Well, the television number went in the fucking garbage. I went, well, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And the NBA went, no, what we need is people that will sit at home on a Tuesday night with nothing to occupy their time because they have to go to work in the morning. That's what we need to hang our money on.
All right, let's see here. Tyler Cunningham's talking about Jamari Salyer.
I do like Jamari Salyer.
Jamari Salyer is a beast.
Play all 5 positions. That helps. He's one of those guys I look at going to the Rams, just like, that needs to happen.
Oh, he says, why are we not talking about Jamari Salyer? He went against Will Anderson.
Will Anderson
from
Alabama.
Okay. And didn't allow a single pressure, and he's only allowed 1 sack.
There's 2 reasons. 1, he has really short arms, so he probably is going to have to play guard in the league. 2, his weight has always been a problem. So speed guys in the NFL are going to kill him. You got to be careful when you start grading guys like that. So Jamari Salyer could probably play some as-needed right tackle and be fine. If you just depot him over there, he's going to be an absolute liability. So he's a guard. And there are a few of those guys in this draft. One of them that people just lose their shit over, Darian Kennard. People lose their minds about him, and I cannot figure out why.
Because he's massive.
And so was Giant Gonzalez. It doesn't mean he was a great wrestler. That was deep.
That was deep.
That was a deep dive.
Highly overrated. Good for you.
Yeah, he wore a one-piece unitard with fake hair on it. I don't think he could be overrated because he's not rated at all.
Better gimmick, him or Doink the Clown. It's Doink the Clown. It's not even close.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, I'm shocked you even came onto that side.
Stephen Tao said, so why are we so hung up on attendance? Because baseball teams are still paying to do it. They're still paying to put out 81 games. This is one of the things I've never understood. How could you have this many issues of labor strife and nobody ever go, why are we continuing to do this? Like, it makes absolutely no sense. But this is.
But do you think that they would be able to pull in the same attendance numbers or better if they had fewer games to offer the public?
I can't tell you they would pull in the same number of people through the gate. They would make the same amount of money, if not more. Because you don't have to do all of the operational things. All right, just think about what I'm going to say. What is the average ticket price for a Major League Baseball game? I haven't been in so long that I know what the stat says, but
yeah, I'd have to imagine $40.
Oh, that's too high.
Too high?
This
$30
bucks? I'm talking about what is the average to just get in. I was going to say $20, $25.
I don't know.
Because there are nosebleed seats that you can get for $8. There are times you can just walk up to certain stadiums. You can walk up to and they'll go, yeah, if you'll sit in the seat, we'll let you in. So that kind of floods that. You had 6 teams in the league that had more than 2 million turns on a turnstile last year. You know what all 8 of those teams have in common except one? Their payroll is $150 million. You can't keep losing money like this and it make any kind of logistical sense.
Yeah. Good night. All right, so I just did a quick Google search. Average Major League Baseball ticket price for a group of 4 people to attend a Major League Baseball game. It costs you an average of $253.
And there's another problem.
So that's
that has to get
$60
that
average.
Has to get, I don't see how in God's name that's that high.
Yeah. Well, because you got to think about where
food.
You're talking about. Let's see. It says just Well, maybe. It says to attend a Major League Baseball game.
That's got to include food.
Maybe. Maybe so. Let me click through here and just see real quick. But anyway, what I was saying was you got to take into account the expensive seats. The expensive seats are the ones that I feel like sell much better than the cheap seats because they're always packed. Because the die-hard baseball fan wants to. They make it.
So where are these seats you're referring to?
Like behind
home plate?
Yeah, behind home plate.
Yeah, those are corporate.
Mm-hmm.
Those are bought by corporations and given to people. That's why that happens. Because they incentivize corporations to buy them because they don't want to have big empty seats right behind the home plate.
Mm-hmm. Depending on where you are.
There's no depending on where you are.
Yes, there
virtually all of those. Well, not all of them, but virtually every stadium has a large number.
Oh, sure. I mean, you've got your corporate deals. I got these tickets from the boss man, all of that. But you still have your season ticket holders that have been there forever.
Yeah, I'll put it this way. I know I have 2 Jet fan friends that live in Jersey that go to Met games constantly.
Yep.
Ain't never bought a ticket, not one time.
Never bought a ticket.
They're giving away corporate.
Right.
Their company will have seats and I'll go, here you go. I'll see their pictures on Facebook all the time.
Yeah. That's a great gig if you can get it.
And one of them makes a point to say, I have never paid for a ticket.
Well, that is a lucky bastard. Because I have always had to pay for my ticket. And I always find the deal. I find the cheapest way to go because I'm cheap as dirt. And I would never pay $200 to sit.
Oh, yeah.
Even relatively
close.
Those
seats are drastically more than that.
Oh, yeah. Again, depending on what stadium you go to.
Oh, man, I'm sure you can buy them in Tampa Bay for $9 because nobody's ever sat in one that actually paid for a ticket.
Right. That's my point. That's exactly my point. Yeah, no, baseball's got a problem. We understand it, but we all still love it. I mean, not all of us, but
as a matter of fact,
the ones who love it, we still love it.
It's actually a very small percentage of people that love it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the whole point.
Yeah,
that's the whole point that people like me try to make is this goes into a much broader argument of people say they love it, but really be honest with yourself. How much of their money how much of your money have they gotten in the last 5 years? Ain't been much. We've been doing a show together for 3.5.
Oh, for me, it's more than the NFL. More money than I've given the NFL.
So you spent more money on apparel, anything that
tickets.
You've gone to.
I've been to.
You've also been given tickets to at least 2 NFL games since I've known you.
Oh yeah. That's why I can say that is because I can't remember the last time I paid for an NFL ticket.
And that's biased.
Major League Baseball, on the other hand, I got to buy those tickets. So they've gotten way more of my money. I'm not saying it's not biased. I'm just saying that's how it is for me.
The Combine has gotten more of my money than Major League Baseball has.
Yeah. Cutshaw had the fucking hookup for the Red Sox Braves game last year. Him and his brother-in-law went down, and his mom got him tickets for his birthday or whatever. Oh, they had free food, and I think they had a waitress, and those were some high-priced seats.
Eric Bieniemy back in Kansas City.
Eric Bieniemy. I'm glad we could all settle that.
And Tony Jefferson back with the Baltimore Ravens.
Who's shocked?
By either of those things? Not me.
No. Because I didn't think Eric Bieniemy was going anywhere anyway.
I cannot wait for the cap calisthenics in the NFL to start next week. Some of them are going to be ridiculous.
Well, the Green Bay Packers in the last 2 days, they have already saved $13 million against the cap by restructuring Aaron Jones and who was the other one? Kenny Clark. Restructured that contract, saved about $10 million, saved 3 more with the Aaron Jones thing, and they've got a lot more to do if they want to get Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers in the building.
If I'm not mistaken, I think they saved 9.5 when they cut Zadarius Smith.
I think it's more than that. I think it's like 12.
It might very well be.
I think it's like 12.5 when they cut Zadarius.
There's some dead money though. There though.
Mm-hmm.
Cut Oh, yeah. It's 12.5 in dead money.
12.5 in dead money?
But they saved 15-2.
Okay.
That's one that's certainly going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
He will not be on that team next year.
No. I mean, he's a hell of a pass rusher, but, I mean, when you have a guy that's going to cost you that much or be able to save you that much, and he's had injury issues.
How many snaps did Zadarius Smith play last year? I didn't know the answer to this until I started doing that.
Did he even get 100?
No.
No. It's like 60? It
was 41.
41, yeah.
Or 37, excuse me.
37, okay. Yeah, it wasn't much because he wasn't able to even play until the last week of the season or something like that. So,
Tyler Cunningham asked if we'll be live streaming the combine. We're trying to figure out a way to do that now. We got SoCon that weekend too, so it's going to be a little difficult, but we'll find a way.
Right.
I love the underwear Olympics. So. If for nothing else, we'll do a review of the combine every day.
Oh, yeah. Who ran the fastest? We can't wait for those. Which quarterback ran an 8?
I mean, you won't say
of
that.
Of course you won't. Was being
there are a few guys at the combine that I can't wait. I cannot wait to see what they do at the combine.
Mm-hmm.
Still pissed I'm not going to be there, but
oh,
I'll just keep looking at my media credentials that I can't use.
That's your memento. Your memento that you will never be able to use. With the combine coming up, though, I mean, is there a guy that you expect to just wow everybody and improve his stock more than anybody else just by what he's able to put on the field freakishly? You know what I mean?
No, because like people don't get duped by that anymore.
They don't.
I mean, we all have ways to figure out how fast these guys are. So, I mean, yeah, there'll be a couple 3-5 guys that can run under 4.3. But like, if they do, then yay.
I'm thinking like DK Metcalf. Like, because wasn't DK Metcalf like 4th round pick, and then he ended up running just unbelievably fast?
No, DK was originally going to be like a mid 2, late 2 because he had flaws. Then he ran ridiculously fast. Everybody lost their shit and went, oh, he's going to be a first-round pick. Meanwhile, people like Michigan go, no, he won't.
No, he won't.
No, he won't because he can't run a route. And by the way, he still can't run a route. But he's 6'4" and fast as hell. So, and he fell into the back of the second round.
Yeah.
The one that fell in that draft that blew my mind was A.J. Brown. Still can't figure out how anybody with an IQ above salad dressing watched A.J. Brown and didn't go, hey, he's real damn good. Like, real good.
I was looking earlier today at the quarterbacks because everybody wants to focus on the quarterbacks in this class because that's what we do every year. We focus way too much on the quarterbacks.
Oh, the quarterback. If I had $1 for, and this is something I want to bring back now that, I got some ammo with the mock drafts. I got 2 more mock drafts coming out. Free agent signing predictions that'll be out over the weekend. I want to bring back Troll Patrol? Yeah, I want to bring that back. I have gotten some really, really stupid messages. Washington Commanders fan, no way we would take Sam Howell at 11. I respond, what is your plan at quarterback? Oh, we're good with Ryan Fitzpatrick again.
Oh, stop that.
Taylor Heineke will be just fine. We're good enough everywhere else. Okay. Sure you are.
I mean, we saw that this past year. We don't feel like that really did anything.
I just find it funny that in a class where there is so little, and I'm really glad I could say this out loud before the draft happened so I could point to this and go, hey, you remember when I said that? I tried to tell you. In a year where there are so few prospects that have clearly defined themselves as top 10 talents, there's probably 2 guys that you get universal, no doubt they're top 10 guys. Evan Neal, probably Aiden Hutchinson. There are people, it's not universal, but it's probably as close as you're going to get. Other than that, I'll use a guy that I'm just drunk on, Kyle Hamilton. I've seen a range from 3 to the early 20s on Kyle freaking Hamilton. Now, granted, he plays a non-premier position, but I find it really funny that people keep telling me, oh, we're not sold on that quarterback. And you may not be. You'll be sold on one of them.
Mm-hmm.
I promise you will be sold on one of them. Denver Broncos, you'll be sold on one. Just a question of who it is.
Yeah.
Washington Commanders, you'll be sold on one. Might trade for them, but between a trade and the draft, you're gonna be sold on one of them.
Not Pittsburgh, though. Pittsburgh's already sold on Mason Rudolph. They're fine.
Well, hey, Pittsburgh, you're right there too. You're gonna be sold on somebody. It's just a question of who.
But looking at earlier today, there's an article on NBC that was doing comps, statistical comps for the quarterbacks. Kenny Pickett, taking his statistics from college, his closest comp to a current NFL player is Drew Lock.
And I'll be honest with you, when you said that, I went, I hate comps, and he's way more athletic than Drew Lock, but it's not terrible.
Yeah, but get this. So whatever algorithm they ran this through and all the statistics, they came up with these scores on how close these guys are to their comp. So obviously Kenny Pickett's 100 score because he matches himself. And then Drew Lock's a 94. Then Geno Smith is a 92.
That one is stupid.
Ryan Finley, remember him?
Yeah, that one is also stupid.
He's at 89, and Andy Dalton is 84. So that's how much they compare to Kenny Pickett. So that's your group of comps for him.
That's why I hate comps.
Malik Willis's closest comp, and it's far. Like he has there's nobody that comes close to.
Which is funny because there have been multiple.
Yeah, that comes close to like the 60, 70, 80% likeness. His highest comp is a 47 score, and it's Pat White.
Yeah, that's good. The Malik Willis thing is going to be so much fun for me. To just sit back and laugh at all these people that lose their shit about Malik Willis, and then he drops like a rock.
Mm-hmm. Let's see here.
I have literally never seen a quarterback that is that careless with their footwork. In all the time I've been doing this, I've never seen one.
Matt Corral, Corral. I'm still trying to remember how to say his name. Matt Corral. His closest comp is a 39 score. Actually, there's two tied at 39. One's Taj Boyd. The other one is Teddy Bridgewater.
And Sam Ehlinger would be mine.
Sam Ehlinger. Let's see if he showed up.
He's
on
probably
this list.
too recent. Most of those comps take 3 years before they register.
Yeah, he is. He is not listed as one of the comps for him. But it's like Taj Boyd, Teddy Bridgewater. Teddy Bridgewater is the best out of the group. Cody Kessler, Nate Davis, Colt McCoy.
Yeah, you know what all those guys have in common? They didn't have NFL arms. Neither does he.
Sam Howell's closest comp, and this is the last one that they did. Sam Howell's closest comp is Teddy Bridgewater. It's 96% match.
I think that comparison is so stupid. Like, just mind-bogglingly stupid.
Well, this is just...
First of all, Sam Howell's more athletic than he is.
Mm-hmm.
Second of all, he has a way better arm. I mean, a drastically better arm.
I would agree with that.
That's why I hate comps.
But these are statistical comps.
I don't care where they come from. There are two things. Statistical comps are absolutely asinine stupid because you're comparing apples to oranges.
Mm-hmm.
The ones that really irritate me are when you go, this guy reminds me of blank, and they almost always look alike. Invariably. And you take that however you want to.
Right.
That's why anytime I do a comp, I try to be absolutely as unfiltered as humanly possible. Of this is what their game looks like. I'm not saying they look similar.
Right.
I don't really care about height, weight, speed, things like that. This is who you remind me of when I watch you play football.
Mm-hmm.
Sam Howell's is what Baker Mayfield was sold to be. I never bought Baker Mayfield, never bought it for 1 second. I literally got into fights with people in bars because they kept telling me, oh, you're stupid. Am I stupid now? I'm reasonably good at this.
Right.
Malik Willis. Malik Willis has all the unbridled talent you could ever want. The only problem is I don't know that he'll ever put it together.
Right.
And I'm going to say this as nicely as I can. So you know how when you get up and you decide to walk to your car, you put one foot in front of the other? Malik Willis might try to put one foot up his ass because I cannot for the life of me figure out what he's doing with his feet.
Okay.
I mean, he literally throws deep balls like Steph Curry shoots jumpers.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, look, I'm falling away. But why? But why are you doing that? And I don't know that you can ever correct that. I mean, I've seen a lot of quarterbacks that had bad feet. I don't know that I've ever seen one that's this bad. Malik Willis is like a little kid that you gave a BB gun to, and he just shoots fucking everything with it. Well, it might hurt somebody. Don't care.
Right. Let's see here. Tyler Cunningham says if the Panthers draft Willis, I'm going to turn my TV off.
Don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, he won't be around for them to pick when they pick again in the 4th round, and they're definitely not using the 6th pick.
There is a player that I've heard Carolina put with that you'll see it in the free agent predictions, and now that I've seen it, I can't unsee it.
Mm-hmm.
And it would be really, really, really good.
At quarterback?
Nope.
Oh.
Quarterback, you're stuck. You might get Carson Wentz for a bag of nickels because I keep hearing people say, well, a team might give up a 2nd-round pick for Carson Wentz. Are you out of your fucking mind?
No, they won't.
Who is this team?
Oh, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I saw that earlier today. It's like, no, it's not going to happen. I mean, I could
Tampa
definitely.
Bay has 2 speeds.
I could definitely.
You either bring in the safest quarterback out there, which is Teddy Bridgewater,
mm-hmm.
or you let everybody walk out the door. Just bathe yourself in comp picks.
Yeah. I mean, I can see them. I could see them bringing in Carson Wentz on some kind of a cheap ass deal after he gets cut.
See, and even then, I look at that and go, if you wait that long, you will have lost all of these free agent guys anyway. The problem with Tampa is that you're pushed up against this decision because see, when free agency opens on the 15th, they still have 3 more days to make a decision on Carson Wentz,
mm-hmm.
and they're going to do it at the 11th hour because it makes no sense to do it any time before that. You will try to facilitate a trade in spite of the fact it doesn't make any sense and nobody's going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
You will try to do that up until the 11th hour. So now you're going to have 3 days of open free agency, and then you're going to sign Carson Wentz. Cool. Ryan Jensen will already be gone.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't franchise Carlton Davis, he will be gone.
Mm-hmm.
Because somebody will throw stupid money at him, and I have a weird, funny feeling it's my team.
Yeah.
Who am I forgetting? Chris Godwin will be gone.
Well, he's gone anyway.
Not necessarily. There are a lot of Tampa people that don't feel like he's certainly gone.
Yeah, I just don't know why you would. I mean, if you're not going to have the quarterback, why would you do that? Why would you sink that much money into Chris Godwin to bring him back?
Because the thought is that you can still be competitive enough because the division's so bad.
Mm-hmm.
That's my fear, is that that's what Tampa does. They start overpaying guys, and now you're in New Orleans Saints level. Holy shit.
Right. It just doesn't make sense to me to do that without having a quarterback that can get you to that level.
Stephen Tao asked, is there a Josh Rosen in this class? I want it done. No. Nobody in this class has a bad enough attitude or will have enough put on their plate. I will be legitimately honest with you. I won't be shocked if there's not a rookie starter next year. Week 1. Obviously, somebody will end up playing, but I won't be shocked if not one of these guys starts week 1. Sam Howell's the only one I would start with a clear conscience. I mean, Kenny Pickett, if he wound up on a team that played in a dome. Kenny Pickett outside now terrifies me. After the video I got sent to that device right there.
Right.
I am terrified of him playing anywhere it rains a lot, anywhere where it snows ever, basically anywhere that it ever gets below about 50 degrees. I am mortified.
Yeah.
Because he looked like a small child who had just discovered his wiener of trying to throw a football in the rain. It was embarrassingly bad.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw that and went, yeah, that's worse than I thought it was.
And, of course, this was at the rain-filled practices down at the Senior Bowl.
Senior Bowl, yeah.
So, Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one that I'm not hearing enough. But have you noticed that all of the mock drafts that have been done since Senior Bowl, everybody talking about, Kenny Pickett was perfect in the game. Have you noticed that anybody that was there or had even so much as an ear there, you hadn't seen Kenny Pickett in the top 20 since? Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
Every mock that came out, Daniel Jeremiah just did his. Dropped like a rock. Mel Kiper, dropped like a rock.
Mm-hmm.
Bucky Brooks, dropped like a rock. That's because they saw the same thing I did. And now any team that plays see, I had him to Pittsburgh forever because it made so much sense.
Right.
Well, now the problem is it gets cold as hell in Pittsburgh, and I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm good. I'm trying to remember the stat. I heard somebody fired one of these stats at me. He will have under 9-inch hands. In the Super Bowl era, I think there have only been like 4 quarterbacks that ever started more than 5 games that had smaller hands than that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's since 1969. Like this dude, when I say he has little hands, it is shockingly small.
So he's going to be under.
He'll be under 9 inches.
Under the 9 inches that Joe Burrow had.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. They're smaller than Joe Burrow's.
Yikes. Where do they measure? Do they measure from pinky to thumb?
Yeah.
I've never measured mine. I wonder if mine are bigger than Kenny Pickett's.
I would wager so. Most grown men's are.
Most grown men's are. I've never had giant hands.
I do.
Well, you're also 6'4".
Fact.
And I am 5'3". So
yeah, I have.
I didn't get nothing out of that.
I think mine are getting like. I've broken my fingers so many times. I think mine are getting smaller.
Well, as you get older, some people do shrink. So
I think my hands are shrinking.
Maybe. Is it because you're not exercising them enough? Is that what this is?
No, it's because I think I've broken them so many times that they're starting to arthritically seize back up into the palm to protect themselves.
Steven tells us, are we using guys 9 inches or girls 9 inches?
Well, I mean,
yeah, there is a little bit of a discrepancy there. You get the leading edge. Isn't that what you always say?
So JT Money asked a very good question. Didn't he play in the same stadium with the Steelers? Yeah, but they don't play a game past November. A huge difference there. When does the weather really take a turn for the worse?
Right.
Back into November.
Yeah. And he looked fine in the rain game against UNC. However, the ball's
Carolina.
bigger now.
Yeah. Not by much, but by enough. That's a very, very good question, though. There is a huge difference between playing your last home game at Pittsburgh in the last week in November and being asked to play a win it or go home game in Heinz Field in
January.
The second week in January.
Yeah.
When it's 6.
Right. He's got a lot to go. Let's see. Pinky to thumb. Steven Tao says he's 9.5.
He's also 6'7".
I was going to say, good God. That seems small for a guy his size.
That's about right.
That's about right?
That's
okay.
probably what mine are.
Okay. All right. Again, never measured hands. Don't know what a typical hand's supposed to be measured at, but I would imagine a guy of Steven Tao's size should probably have hands bigger, like much bigger than Joe Burrow. But
let's see.
Again, don't know. I wish I had a like a ruler around here, because now I'm curious, like what my hand size is.
So Kevin Davidson, his were 8 1/4. That's just little itty.
Oh, by the way, Steven Tao's 6'9".
Is he 6'9"?
That's what he just said.
I mean, I always thought 6'7" was small, but I thought he had told me that one time. Justin Herbert's are 10 inches.
Mm-hmm.
Brian Lewerke, his are 10 1/2. That's a large hand. Trying to see if one sticks out to me. There's almost always a lineman that's like 10 3/4. Oh, Cameron Clark, the one that just retired for the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
His left hand was 11 inches.
Good God.
Sad thing, his right hand was 10 1/3. That is a big-ass discrepancy.
Well, see, now I never thought about that. Is one hand bigger than the other one? Yeah.
Every year there's a handful of those.
Yeah, my right hand is a little bit bigger than my left hand. Weird. That one gets all the exercise.
Yeah, Solomon Kinley.
I can't do anything with my. I can't do anything with my left hand.
I'm willfully ignoring what you're saying right now, just because I'm afraid you're going to say something that
I'm not. I'm just. Are you ambidextrous? Can you do many things with both hands? Because I am right hand dominant. Like everything I do has to be done with my right hand.
I literally broke so many fingers on my right hand that I learned.
Oh, okay.
To how to deal with it. I cannot throw a ball to save my life with my left hand.
Can't throw a ball. Can't write.
I can swing a baseball bat left-handed. I can swing a golf club left-handed.
Can't do that.
Now, I'm not nearly as accurate, and I can't hit one as far.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I can left-handed. A friend of mine that I play golf with is left-handed, and I've swung his. Hell, I've hit his driver 260.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it might go down the fairway, and it might go into somebody's car.
Right.
But I can't hit it.
But you can do it. All right. That's a little trick. All right. Cool.
It's been a long day.
It has been a long day. We appreciate everybody hanging out with us here on a Threadbare Thursday. Coming up tomorrow. Where do we stand? Where do we stand with the bands bracket?
So we're going to vote on it during the show tomorrow. My computer is possessed by the devil himself, and I have spent probably half of this day trying to make my computer work.
Mm-hmm.
So it's possessed by Natas. And all of the things are on it. So I have to procure them and get them somewhere. The only problem is that everything I do damn near crashes the thing out.
Right.
Which is why you can't see this on camera, but my laptop's sitting right here, and they're tethered to each other.
Nice.
So
nice. All right. So we will discuss the overrated bands bracket tomorrow in the extra frame, the happy hour, on a normally Foodocracy Friday.
And then HWA will not be in town this weekend, so me and Mr. Computer are going to have I'm going to tear you apart and put you back together.
Yeah, a come to Jesus meeting of you will work one way or the other. Join us tomorrow at 3 o'clock. We'll be back here in the Ingles Studio for the Friday edition. Is the Chief coming to hang out with us tomorrow?
I talked to him a couple days ago, and it sounded that way.
Okay. All right.
But I will confirm that by in the morning.
I spoke to him this morning. I didn't. We didn't talk about that though. We spent most of our time, bitching and complaining about other things.
The government.
No, it wasn't the government. We were bitching about sports.
I've spent a lot of today bitching about the government.
Right.
But I didn't do it on camera.
Good for you. Good for you. Yeah. T's and P's, everybody. Try to stay away from the den of the news. It hasn't been great.
Nope.
But we got things going on, and we'll continue to be your best distraction against the important bad things that are happening all around the world. Tomorrow at 3 right here in the Ingles Studio. I'm Tank Spencer. He's Jeremy Greene, and we'll see you next time.